No, waiting
Substitute
for Mr. Katina to get back here.
You're going to want to put the screens on if you're going to be a substitute trader up in there. But you don't need to look at screens to see the market is bouncing here today. A lot has made it higher. I have a weird echo in my ear, guys.
Turn my mic off.
I was just looking at Alibaba and Randy came by. I was like, Baba's up 8%. Remember we were joking around about Baba getting a 141? Well, Baba's here now. So Baba's a chance to break out today. Amazon just took another there's Baba up 8%. Amazon just took another fresh high. The market is churning. Just took out 208.5. You've got the NASDAQ up 0.8. You've got, the ES, all right, ES. You're only up 0.7, but who cares? There's Randy and Sean. Yo, where's your Tim's? You didn't try to win? Oh, his coffee's over here.
I was going to hold the fort.
Fabian comes to sit down in the seat, and then he immediately leaves. What was up with that? Are you switching too?
Setting up that shot.
Oh, you were setting the shot up. Oh, okay.
we gotta get it on there.
What do you like today? Everything's up. What do you like?
Right now, I don't like anything. I'm too scared to get into anything right now besides maybe the S&P and sizing in.
I'm coming.
Dollar cost averaging over time.
Okay, so you just heard a young man say he's too scared to get into anything. You're too young to don't care about any of these prices. Market goes down a couple of days. If the market goes down 10% and you're young, you buy.
I need to change my mentality.
Buy.
Just dollar cost average.
Or just buy more Bitcoin too.
That too. That's just been happening for a long time. That's not changing.
You're all in, eh?
Yeah, just buying more and more and more. When I see a big drop, I just buy more.
Only Bitcoin?
Yes. I don't touch Ethereum.
Like never.
No, I don't like it.
Oh.
Because it costs too much to move it around. It's too expensive. You have to pay gas prices and stuff like that. Yeah. Bitcoin, on the other hand, it's about $1.
There you go. There's a little bit of a crypto minute there, or a few seconds there from our good friend Fabian. Sean will come to the desk in a quick little second when he takes a fill in there. I got to make sure I am in the chat to see what you guys are up to. Look, the only thing, I just got out of Amazon in front of the high, but the only new thing that got put on here, and we'll buy the dip in that, is SMR, which is breaking out at VWAP.
Oh, is it? Oh, man.
It's got like a quintuple top that's trying to break. Actually, let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that's 6. 6 isn't 5. That's so quintuple top would be 5. It's actually the 6th time it's gotten to 17.10 without actually breaking out. But I'm going to jump in it, give it back underneath the prior bar low, which is just under. It's like just above $17. See if this is the time as a charm. For SMR, they reported last morning or
what are we at right now in SMR?
Aftermarket
17.12.
Yeah, so SMR, the big earnings name in the aftermarket tonight, well, one of them anyways, is going to be Rigetti. I saw Joe was in Rigetti. I'm also in IBIT from earlier. But yeah, what a great day for the market. You were kind of consistent this morning. You didn't know how you felt about it, but ultimately, we've got day 2 of this little rally coming in full force. We got a little bit of relief, I suppose, with a little month off for the automakers and the tariffs, and we'll see what happens on Friday when we get back and start looking at the crypto announcement, or maybe it's a nothing burger. I don't know.
It's only a couple days away. $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6. Hope everyone's doing good. All right, Palantir right now up to $89 right now, $6 winner on this one. $3. It's too bad that we went for our little walk today. Actually, no, we were filming. We didn't get to go to the gym today. We were filming today. But look at that, man. Nvidia comes right back in it. Okay. We tweeted these plays out earlier, but it's great to see this happens again for us there. We're really cruising, man. And then our play of the day, we showed this to Sharif. Like this Google down there at 169. Like we're putting out educational videos here, and I could have rebought that. Anyways, today, right now, you coming back, we have $6 on Palantir, we have $250 on Nvidia, and we have $350 on Google, and the story. That's it. There's nothing else. We also traded SMR earlier today. So what we're going to do now is something called the rundown. We're going to take all the questions that you guys had, all the symbols that you guys had, you wanted us to analyze. We'll look at some of those plays. We'll get involved here. The market's absolutely ripping today, taking out new highs right now. Every idea we had on here. We've been tweeting up a storm right now today, so go over on @ShareTV, Sean, go find all these plays. They've been working out so far. Look, Rigetti, I heard Joe was on that one. We'll find out more about Rigetti. BBAI tonight, I think, as well. So we'll find out what that number comes through later on the recap show with Neil. But yeah, man, so far so good here today. We're just in a great mood. We're having our best day in a long time. And yeah, it all sparked off with some early big trades, right? I mean, including this Palantir. Obviously, we always wish we had more shares, but we still got a decent spot here on Nvidia as well. So yeah, man, so far so good. Could have made a little bit more if we were here, but we weren't. But the levels are there for you anyways. Thank you for joining. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. All right, if we're ready for Sharif, then I'm ready for Sharif. Let's go over and see the rundown.
Oh, apparently it's tomorrow.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers up there is to join Joe and I on the How to Trade Midday show, and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you've got to be a subscriber in order to engage with Joe, or the big boys in the chat. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. Let's look here at the major averages. They're all in Greensville right now, with the NQ leading the way, up 1%, not to be outdone by the Dow, which is also up 1%. In third place here is the ES, up 0.91, so basically knocking the door of that 1%. And then fourth out of the bunch is the Russell 2000, up about 0.2%. Here's a look at Tesla, the number one name, as decided by you guys. Definitely not the best performing Mag 7 name on the day, but it's up 1 2/3. We got a couple of different data points today. We got good UK sales with 21% growth in registrations in February, guys, but that was like counteracted by the 40% drop that we had in Germany. So a bit of a mixed bag out there in Europe.
Yeah, a bit of an inside day in Tesla as well. Mixed bag in Europe, mixed bag for Tesla. It's actually trying to, with the market trying to break out the highs right now, it looks like it has a chance to go. So you're playing a little catch up here. I know it's up 1.5%. So like to say that a stock that is up more than the market isn't doing that well, it's because of the rally was so insane yesterday on Tesla that you put in like a 284 print up there. So it had a lot of work to do. There's still a bit of a double top at 278. It's not a bad price. Opening range. It was also a bit of an aftermarket top there at the 278 level. The thing about this 278, you're still battling with this 200 period moving average. So you're up, you're down, around. I'd love it for it to close out above. I think we said the same thing yesterday. I was like, yeah, let's see this thing be above there and holding 280, and then it's just a straight shot back into the 300 level. That hasn't materialized, but we've seen Tesla do it before, literally yesterday. So if we take out, I mean, 280 for sure looks like an obvious break level, but the 278, it's like 278.5-ish is that next local top in there. I do prefer Amazon today, so next available dip, I'm going to get into that. I don't know if that's on the list, but Tesla, it's trying to put a bottom. A lot of stocks like the Amazon, if you look at most stocks, like the bottom got put in, like double top, double bottom on Palantir, which we'll talk about. Amazon, huge bottom off 200 reversal. Tesla's still trying to put that bottom in, which does mean it's going to give you some juice if it starts going again.
I mean, we were just talking about Palantir being $5 in the money. It's now $7. Like, this name is so juiced right now to the upside. I don't even... that's crazy. We didn't trade. Like, Google's $4 and breaking through highs. Nvidia right now, not even, I mean, trying to break highs, but still a lot of room to run. This market could run a lot here today. Even, like, we can go up 2%. Right now, we're only up 1.4. We were just up over 1% when we made that comment. Now you just add 0.4 to that like it was nothing. Wow, this market is insane. So Tesla, the same thing. It reminds me of Nvidia. They're both at these recent highs right now. There's no way in heck I'm shorting anything into this afternoon. So yeah, again, love the opportunity to have gotten long at some of these levels. We talk about all these names every single day. And it's just like today, Tesla wasn't really on the radar, but look what happened. It does bounce off that 268 clean, hits it right there. That's not the mistrade this is. I'm not here, doesn't matter. You want to look at support and resistance levels. Just like right now, if this were to happen to come in and be a short, like, then that wouldn't surprise me one bit at all. You know, coming up to the highs, if you're playing short right now, play the range. It's been up here before and fell $10. It could happen again easily. So yeah, Tesla right now, great trade today, up 2%, wasn't on my radar. I wasn't that excited about really any of the headlines that were coming out through Tesla. We did see Elon Musk yesterday, of course, in Congress there for the talk when they had special guests and invitees and whatnot. Yeah, so we'll just wait to see what happens with, again, Tesla's Optimus. I mean, some of the notes that we see, those are excitable points for Tesla moving forward and what robotics can mean to this company. We heard, again, some more tariff talk about automotives. You know, Tesla's going to be sort of vulnerable to all of that. So, you know, if you're nervous about tariff talk and things, then maybe you want to stay away from Tesla for a minute. But, you know, I still like the company. I don't know if it's at a buy zone yet or not. Honestly, it's just been so beat up. The 200 period is going to cut. It's right at the 200 period. So, you know, for me, I prefer a name like a Google. Maybe we won't. But any of the other names almost on that list, I prefer to Tesla at this moment. So right now, great opportunities to trade Tesla today. We're here to do it, and we just, you know, again, wasn't looking at the name. So same with all these mag names, right? I mean, if you're going to look at Palantir, sure, this is a monster winner, but look, it dipped back into support again right there. Google was exact same. This is the one that I'm most upset about right here with Google, because that fell right into here. So that came right back to the level that we had as our trade idea of the day. So anyways, Tesla UK sales, again, was it a good thing? Finally, a little bit of an uptick in that number. So we'll
UK matter. I don't know. It's
we'll tip our hat to it. It's a movement in the right way. We had bad sales in Europe, not great in China. I don't know what are the U.S. sales like for. I'm asking Sharif. I don't expect him to necessarily know, but have they reported strong U.S. sales lately, Sharif?
Year over year on the month.
Okay, so down month over month, year over year.
We know about China, so
yeah. So okay, so we'll wait for Tesla. Maybe some more robotics news to come.
Yeah, guys, Palantir, this is definitely a good look over here. Over 6 1/3%, knocking the door of that $90 area. It was William Blair giving this one the nod today, upgrading it from underperform to market perform. But one most notable thing, guys, they said still that the price, according to them, is still a little frothy, and they refuse to give a price target.
Yeah.
So I have like the worst Palantir trade because I got into it and then got out because I was getting up. And we were, like Sean said, we were shooting some stuff. Yeah, we shot some stuff. Actually, the biggest missed opportunity for me was Amazon when I wasn't even sitting down. This was different because I was in it and then decided I didn't want to be in it while it was shaking out. Felt like it was trending down. It was right at that. It was the same buy zone that I liked, but it was essentially just an in and out flat. Pretty much the most inopportune moment to have done. So I'm glad you held on to this one because I certainly didn't.
I don't even have that second play there, so.
Well, no, but you were shooting.
Right. Well,
You weren't. Yeah. So.
Well, your stop order got run. I mean,
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a stop. I literally said, "Oh, this is bad timing. I shouldn't be in already," because it wasn't confirmatory. So I just punched myself out instead of giving it to the local bottom, which I usually would. But anyways, that's a missed trade for me. Palantir, it's double bottomed. It's above the 50. The temporary. Okay, you call it. What do they say that it's still frothy? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the double bottom's in. I think the temporary bottom's in. I think that's technically what's just happened. Any downtrend that I draw, and you could probably draw several of them, they've all broken at this point. So to me, that means the little temporary bottom is gone for this stock. And as far as how far it can go, I don't know, 100 seems reasonable just based on you had a little cluster on the way up last time. You had a little stair step around there for a couple of days on the way down. So 100 seems very, very logical to me as the next stop. That means 94 break tomorrow or whatever that is. 93.67 or whatever that. I think that's set up for tomorrow for sure. I don't want to short. I never want to say I don't want to short anything, but that's kind of parabolic. So, you know, maybe that BABA top I was talking about possibly, but not this.
Yeah, look, I mean, for us, it was pretty simple here on Palantir, man. I mean, it was, again, all the trades of the day could could classify here, but I don't. Oh, we'll just show you one of them. It doesn't matter. Well, I'll just show you the original. So right here, I want to thank all 5,000 of you for having a quick little view at the sticky note today. Palantir upgraded 83.50 by the dip, up early, but seems like it wants to fade out. I mean, we basically, like, let's just think about, wow, it's just breaking $90. Okay, so yeah, man, up early, fade out possible. I mean, Joe, how's it going? Good, man. Yeah, me too. You know, there's the fade possible. We ran it all the way down. It does break $83. We get out. We wait for that bottom wick. Then we run this thing right back there to the high side. So, yeah, man, I really like this Palantir trade. I cannot believe it's at $90. I said it has a chance to be at 100. I said this yesterday. It had a chance to be at 100 by Friday. You know, now I believe in that even more. So let's wait to see what happens now. Palantir up ominous 6.66%, still going higher. I really like this name. Bitcoin right now is going to break 90,000. I mean, there's lots happening right here, but we're at 4 times our daily goal. It's been a great opportunity. What's up, Neil? They're on the screen with Crowdstrike. It's all good.
It's next. So
it's all good. Ramin's checking TikTok and everything. I mean, it's, you know, we got, what was that? No, she's not. There it is. There. Oh, Rigetti. Okay. All right.
That's the aftermarket show. I already have Rigetti teed up, man, because that's going to be one of the earnings plays aftermarket.
I like that one. Yeah, $7 in the money here on Palantir. We're in the building. What's up, Sharif?
Chilling, Sean. Crowdstrike next over here. What a bad day for this one. 6.5 negative, well off the bottoms, though. It was really the guidance here. They did miss on a couple of different metrics for the current report, but it was really the guidance for Q1 and full year 2026, way below on the EPS estimates, guys. You're going to wonder what's going on with costs at Crowdstrike.
Yeah, we said we had the suspicion that Crowdstrike has a history of when it does this, you're going to get a buy opportunity on Crowd. It was there. Like you can see, I was tracking it this morning. There's your trend down. It's like, why not? Why didn't I get in? It was exactly, like this turn of the trend line was exactly when 10 o'clock the number came out. So the chance to get that break right here ended up being somewhat non-existent. Like you couldn't hit the break because the number came out and the offer evaporated, like everything. And you'll see, because the exact same thing happened. There'll be a candle on Nvidia, which we'll talk about next. And you'll see the exact same thing at 10 o'clock where everything just floated higher if you were long. So I didn't get the execution on Crowd. And I think the opportunity to buy it off that, remember the daily we're showing this level? There was your chance. It was right in the first half an hour of the day. We've seen Crowd do this before. I like the stock. I mean, I like the company. Like nothing bad to say about it, but I missed my trading opportunity because it was just a timing thing. I missed the punch.
We're talking about Crowd. I didn't look at it today. All I said was without looking at it, we'll talk about. I didn't look at anything yet. We'll call it up in a second. I talked about that. I think it was 357, whatever that pre-market bottom was. We were looking for a retest there. Other than that, I didn't really see too much of a trade. So let's just call it up now and have a quick look for the very first time. So yeah, that 357, you know, right there would have just got smoked. So we were thinking that Crowd had a good chance today. There it comes in. So right off the open. You know, obviously you see we were just loaded up on Mag 7 names. That's what I do best. I mean, obviously we sit here and we trade Mag 7 every day and was not really looking at Crowd. But what I like to do so again, because it was down, you know, I was looking at this like I wanted to buy Crowdstrike. I thought that it was down a little bit too much. It looks like we'll basically be flat as to where we opened right now. But again, I would have thought the play would have been to try to support this pre-market bottom. So that was 357. So that would have been a great area to, of course, go short. So if you do like those plays, we talk about it when there's earnings. There's only 2 plays, in my opinion. That is either hold that bottom or you break it, or you hold that top or you break it upside. The top right now has been held 3 times. So it's held just kind of right there. Oh, that's not even the opening, I guess twice. Right there on the open, and then right again right here, right now at 366. So the top side holds, bottom side not. Nice downside move there. So yeah, Crowdstrike just kind of hovering around where it is. Again, pretty textbook play there for CRWD. Breaking through the pre-market bottom, you hit the short, or waiting for that top to get defended again, and it just did there at 366, giving you $4 to the downside. So again, if your thing is to trade names that are a little bit more off the beaten path, then great. Like I said, we used to do a lot of that on the show. There's more of the sort of mid-cap to big runners happening on the midday show, but we're not afraid to get involved. Just Crowdstrike today didn't strike a chord with me.
I like that, Sean. Nvidia, next up here, 1.25%. Certainly still off the highs that we printed in the pre-market. No real catalyst today on Nvidia to really pump it up, but we got this. So CEO Jensen basically announcing their new, what's coming next in their product lineup at their GTC 2025. That is slated to run from March 17th to 21st in San Jose. And you bet your bottom dollar, we're going to be covering that for you here on Trader TV Live.
Yeah, I can't wait for that event. Just like say one thing about, you just kind of hope that there's one of the publicly traded ones that gives you a little bit of an opportunity on that kind of. You never really know if Jensen can pump the air out of some of those for a day or two. I think it was maybe a day or two. Then maybe he can give some juice there. Nvidia's my number. Like Amazon was my best stock today, despite missing a huge opportunity when I wasn't sitting at my desk at the price that I originally wanted. Nvidia was trending down for most of the morning. Open it up with a bad long, just on timing of it. Like I think the price, like the area was kind of right, but the timing of it was bad. So I opened up like instantly down on the stock and then got long 3 separate times into the lower highs. Got out. I think that's right around when I got up. I ended up putting a trail on this. Like the second it broke out the 101 half, and then did not get the reload because we've been basically reloading every wick down there. Wasn't sitting at the desk when it happened. It's not an excuse. It's just the truth. So not in Nvidia. Glad Sean's still in it. I think Nvidia is like we just talked about with Palantir. I think you've got the bottoming tail candle step 1, but as it says right there, 120 incoming. That's the next step. Right. Like you've made the hold of the deep seek low, the 113 or whatever it is, and all you got to do tomorrow or today is break out this high. I mean, 120 is not the actual top that needs to be broken out. It's actually 119 change. So you take that out today. You continue 120 maybe this afternoon, and then you've got, oh, my head's in the way. You guys can't even see this. And then you've got next like 125, which was a big zone. So I think you got 125 in sights this week on NVDA. The other chip name I traded was a short. It was Intel, but Intel still stinks. So Intel was a good short, and it remains that way. But NVIDIA, I think that breakout could happen today.
We made more money on NVIDIA than we maybe did all last month. So just in one day today, we had the one. I mean, and it's just like when it works, that's all. We had the 115 long. It held yesterday. Should be patient on that. So I mean, again, when it's on the sticky note, we're going to trade it and we're going to put on some risk into that. So here it comes, starts the day, and again, like it was all the way up here. Here's 115, man. Load it up. Yeah. I mean. And again, I want to big shout out to Obi. He's not even here today. Messaged me and was like, dude, like this NVIDIA is just so I hope he's made money on it. But again, like just a monster call, honestly, off that 115. And as Neil was talking about it, we did. So this is just a bid that I had, and then we went. So right after 11 o'clock, we got filled right there. That's fine. We would have put more there, but again, doing other things. I did have orders all the way up because we are in position. So again, we get filled here at the highs again. Like I have no problem taking that fill. That's actually where I want these fills. And then when we came back, again, we were actually in different opportunities this afternoon, but there it goes all the way up again into 118. So yeah, man, I mean, this name keeps on working. Just so you guys know, we have like percentage points left, all under 10% on all of these trades, to the point where we just have 1 unit left of Palantir, basically, Google as well, and then NVIDIA. We have a few more bullets to fire, but we're getting out. We're getting out of all of these plays. Look, the afternoon, we've traded the TQs really well. I think we'll try to line up some futures trading here for the afternoon. So we'll get that going. Let's get through the rundown here. And Baba, like, look, man, I sold at 140. I know you mentioned 130, but this name keeps on going to the upside and honestly surprising me all the time. Like
you and I both.
I wish we could be buying the dips on this one because it just keeps on going up. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's get the story and then we'll talk about it, but very impressive name.
Yeah, very much a macroeconomic twist in the story today, guys, with the Chinese government coming out yesterday and reaffirming their 5% growth target. They were also talking about more stimulus, more than they had previously mentioned, targeted stimulus at real estate and some other manufacturing sectors, guys, and that had all these Chinese ADRs very strong on the day, almost without exception, but Baba leading the way here, up 8 1/3.
Only because we always talk about Alibaba, and so I feel like we talk about two things when we talk about the Chinese ADRs, sometimes three. It'll be Alibaba, FXI, and then every now and then we'll sprinkle in a little meal.
That's about it.
Right? And we don't mention JD, 44 breakout on the daily. That's an opportunity there. So it's not just them. 6% to the upside on JD. That's a daily chart. You guys can see the break that's sitting there. Pinduoduo as well. PC low, tempting fate here by loading. Bit of a dog. So not looking as good. So I'm glad we're focused on Alibaba. I'm surprised that's actually as low. It's up 5% here today. But the story is Alibaba up that 8.5 points. I'm surprised because we've been buying, actually I should zoom it out because just to give you a better idea of the 70 level and then recently the 80 level. So the first time through, took zero profit myself. Bought again. This time I was like, it's irresponsible to buy those lows and it goes up here and don't take anything out. So I did trail out a portion of it. Not huge, but I did trail some out and that would have filled, at some point yesterday, I didn't actually bother to check what open, close, or whatever it got, but it was underneath the 130. I probably put like 129.42, knowing me, as a trail, and that certainly would have gotten filled. So I took some out yesterday, and now that, I think it was about 15% or maybe slightly more than that, like 1/6. I have a funny feeling that's probably almost exactly like 10% higher from where I got out of 1/6 yesterday in one day. So that's what happens when you get out of things in the long term. You look back the next day and you regret it. It's at resistance not now, but very, very close to the resistance up here at 141.5, 142. So I could see maybe a shot to revert this at the absolute top that it put in up here just a couple of days ago. So this was on like the 27th and then 26th. This little double top in here. You have a shot to get it, but I feel like every single time I sell something that's made a parabolic move up, I can't remember how many times that happened and you look back the next day and it's a good sell. Almost never? I don't know.
No, you can't worry about it. I think it's been a good trade there on Alibaba, so you got to get some out at some points. Look, we talked about, and Neil just mentioned it there with FXI. I should have made this one of the picks of the year. There was so much negativity coming into China. And they're going to figure out a lower cost of everything, it seems like. And it seems like right now Donald Trump doesn't have too much sights set on crippling anything there in China. We've already seen some sort of pushback there. Talking about the CHIPS Act, that's going to be affecting China if there's going to be more money going over there now with chips. I don't know. And then some of the tariff talk doesn't seem to be hitting anything there in this market. This is the Chinese top index stocks. I don't know if it's a China 100, but at the end of the day, FXI looking to take out highs again, right back into October. So we talked about it, and I actually tweeted out today as well, right when we went off air. And it was right at 11:03. I was just looking at the fill in my inbox right there, right at 11:03. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna. I'll have to go find it. We have too many tweets out here. But anyways, at the end of the day, I bought some index today. So I covered, not covered, but I put some money to work there on the spiders. So I bought them here on a Canadian CDR. But at the end of the day, we stepped in there just after 11 o'clock and was able to pick up some of the SPY. Again, just talking about the different indexes and the different names and what's been happening, it's kind of just looking at it. You're down here at the 200 period moving average. So to me, that's going to be a buy. The last time I put money to work was a while ago. So we're going to do that now, coming right back into September lows. So we did that. We pushed the button there at 11 o'clock today. So just looking, and the reason why I brought that up is, again, that's going to be more of a long-term play. But when you look at the FXI, because we're just still talking a little bit about China, this is way above. That's the one thing I wanted to say. I just don't know if you want to get involved when you're looking at indexes, and this is what it looks like, how highly up we are right now on that. We talked about Starbucks and some of these plays being slightly off of where, current levels were on that stock. And I think this is just another example right now of FXI just probably being overextended. So,
I love Baba, and I wouldn't buy it up here. too.
No, and that's just FXI, yeah, let alone Alibaba. So yeah, you're probably right, man. I don't really know
I don't like, you know what's weird? Like, I don't like buying
What's the
tops.
deal, yo?
I like buying consolidative tops. I don't like buying the actual top.
Right.
When it's made like a 52-week high, I don't think I've ever bought a 52-week high in my life in my long-term account. Like maybe not a single time. I've stupidly sold some 52-week highs, which I've gotten away from. I feel like
I just think you need to like it. Like I bought 52.
Let it reject.
Remember, the better strategy. There's some documents out there that if you buy at 52-week highs, your actually return is better.
Yes.
Than dollar cost averaging and all that.
100%. And I think I self-admit it. And as a matter of fact, that you were just mentioning the SPY. Like I've
Try
decided
not to do it too.
I want to switch. My dollar cost average last year. Well, sorry, the last 2 years has been the Qs.
Right.
With, I think, a single exception. There was 1 month when I bought, we talked about it. There was 1 month when I bought the diamonds instead.
Right.
You guys said something about it on the podcast. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Because I always buy the index like once a month.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll just buy the diamonds this much. But this year, it's going to be the SPY. But the only difference is when it comes into the moving average, like I'll probably end up doing the dollar cost. I don't know, like, you know what, I don't have an excuse. I was going to give a reason why. It's like I should have, usually I would put the order in, but I know what happened. You held it, you closed above, and I got busy this afternoon, so I should have, if I'm buying the SPY. Like if it had been the Qs, it's the same thing. And the only reason where's my 200 on the only reason, it's the exact same bounce, and I've been building a position, I have a bigger position in the Qs than I do the SPY. It's just that I have a lot of tech, and there's some tech that I like dip buying, and I want to diversify a little bit. And I've been asked several times about this for Walmart. I already bought Walmart in that 90s level. I'm waiting another quarter. If a quarter later it's still hanging around here, then that's the price I'll end up buying. But like I'm not rushing out to go buy it at this price again. As a matter of fact, I still think it can trade lower, and maybe the next time I dollar cost average into this, it'll be at 82. It's a long-term play for me. Nick Diaz, we don't have the podcast anymore, but if you want to see they have old versions of it out there that you can check.
Is there another one coming?
Sharif just said soon. It is? Cool.
I don't know.
I never heard of it.
I never heard of it.
Just one quick note here. IBIT is starting to run into some resistance at 90,000, pretty much exactly, and it's starting to roll back over. So I was a little more active around this price. It's like 88 something, but it's like 50 and a half. That's basically where we've been going long the entire day. If it breaks this upward trend or gets to the top, I'm going to jump out, look for another opportunity. And the other trade that I'm eyeballing right now is to get back into Amazon. It was a huge miss for me when Amazon broke trend. As I said, I wasn't sitting at my desk. That type of a trend trade, unless you automate it, you got to be sitting at your desk. You're not going to get that trade. I don't know who's calling me, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I know who it is. It'll be Physio. They always call to confirm my appointment tomorrow. I'm coming. Don't call me. And then 207 level, which we liked for the breakout. So all morning long at a 207 break, that's what was in my note. I was also not here for the 207 break, but we sat back down, I bought the dip, took it out at the high. Now I want to play higher lows on Amazon. So we're going to continue to look for longs, maybe Alibaba, maybe Intel under VWAP. That's still weak. Like, what's wrong with Intel, man? The market's up 1.3%. Even Apple was like the weakest stocks. I'm just gonna rail on Intel for a second. Apple was like the weakest of the big cap tech names. It goes all the way almost to green, right to green and back to red. But Intel, on the other hand, can't seem to do anything. Like it's right at those lows, underneath yesterday's bottoms, underneath VWAP. Yeah, this is the only stock that deserves to have a shot shorted. And even then, like I didn't take the reversal yesterday. It probably then breaks out 60 into 21. Let me just get rid of that line. That was for my reference this morning.
Oh, Intel. Yeah, I wanted to short Intel.
So bad.
What is it at?
So bad.
Oh, yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, VWAP, $20.58. Yeah, that would make sense to me. If you did want to look for something there. Just real quick, I just got out of some more Nvidia right here. I'm going to try to play... I'm not going to try to do anything, but playing the rhetoric here of the fact that maybe the market does sell in the afternoon like we've been doing. I mean, I don't think that that's completely unheard of. I think there's a good chance that we do, sell off maybe even the rest of the day here. But, like I said, you sort of play the price action that you see. So let's start to talk about some stops, I guess. And then I feel like I'll trade better if I'm flat. We don't need to hold on. These are such small pieces right now that it doesn't really affect the decision net here of what I'm trying to do. So, okay, you know, this level looks like it might. It's the 50-period moving average. The last time we broke it, we did get a downside play there. So I am a little nervous that potentially we do break this again. That's 88.88. So why don't we just go right here? That bottom is 88.70. So let's put that order in right now to stop out. My stop on Palantir is 82.50. So 50 cents worth of risk to make $6. Let's cancel that stop right now and put the new one in. 88.79 right there on a stop. We'll get out of 100% of that if that does break. So let's look at that. The other thing, we're going to get out some more 118s if Nvidia does come to the upside. For this one, we're pretty comfortable. We probably should have reloaded it right there at VWAP, but we didn't. So I'm thinking about doing that again. So if we drop through 117 right there, let's get out of the rest of Nvidia. Now I do have to cancel all my other orders. This is part of knowing your platform. I think that's very important. Understand the platform that you have. Understand, like, for us, I can't have 2 stop orders of equal value because then it will put me short the stock and I have to declare a short sale, not a sale. So for this order, I'm long, so I have to declare a sale. So let's get out of half of it for sure if we break. So that would be, what am I doing? Yeah, like that. Okay. So what did I say? 117. So 116. Just double check that price. Yeah, that's fine. 116.98. We'll there get out of half of what we have left, which is about 10%. So that will happen. Google, I mean, Google's been just a monster today. It's at the high of the day. This was the #1 trade of the day. It was listed on the sticky note. I really like the stock, obviously, and do think that there's a chance for this one to keep on going up through 173. This stop order, I'm not really going to put one in for Google. We'll just continue to monitor it, because if I were, it probably would be the 50 period, and that's a little too early, right? That's 172.80. So if you're riding with this one, we have net over $11 in the money right now. So, you know, there it is. So Palantir just came out. So boom, that's going to now be obviously props up for that one. Anybody that had the Palantir will now end the trade with a big one there, taking 89s. We don't have 90s. You know, we could have obviously got a little bit of a better price. But again, just relaxing because we're not holding very many shares on that. We talked about that. So those are my stop orders now for that. All right, so what are we looking at for the Qs? So if we just drop down here, just a broader market, I want to look at the NASDAQ instead of the TQs when I'm trying to find levels, and then I'll flip over to the Qs and make sure that we're sort of on the same page. So yeah, this looks like a great short, 504.50. I mean, we wicked up there, we wicked up there again. We have some shelves there. So 504.50 or so on the NASDAQ looks pretty cool to me. Longs not until like 494. So we're well away from that. I don't think we need to dip by any longs in the NASDAQ, but if you're going to look short, I think we're pretty close. So the TQs, if we sort of zoom that back out, what levels are we looking at? We're not too far away, right? $73, that little top area. I think the stop would be around 74. So why don't we start looking short in and around here? 72.80, you know, 73.50 would be real nice. My hesitancy is that we're well above right now, and the market's up 1%. So getting short right now, very risky. But definitely short in the afternoon has been printing, so you kind of got to pick your poison. Let's be a little more patient and see if we can catch something here on a rip, short the top, and then see if we can get lucky.
Yeah, I should have probably taken whatever you could on Intel there, because it's not going to get to, if the market pulls back now, Intel's not going to get to VWAP. It's too weak to do it, so let's just go ahead and cancel. Might be some lower highs in here to be able to pick up. So there's the zoom in. You know, sometimes they suck it up, Buttercup, if it's like VWAP's a line in a chart, but if a stock is strongly trending down, then you just take the lower high. So right now you got 60 as VWAP and 50 as a lower high. Let's see if that can work for us. Bitcoin is getting tanky. Yeah, I tend to, oh, there it goes. Okay. So it was, who said that? City Boy 305 just said Bitcoin's getting tanky. Tanky is not the right word, but it did revert the trend just now and lost that 90,000 level. So like right in here around, it's not exact, remember, it's not precise, but like just over 51 is going to be 90,000. So like it's been losing the 90,000 level and then trending down. And if you connect it, if it gets down to 50, I don't care about VWAP today on Bitcoin or IBIT. I just care about 50 and a half. Like that's been the spot looking for the reload, and it's the prior day high. So when it shows the prior day high is good, we go long that. What up, Randy? Did you win at Roll Up the Rim? Did you win at Roll Up? Oh, you haven't even done it.
I saw like half a coffee.
You got to roll, man.
You win a buzz.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, Joe wants the car if I win.
What's the car?
This guy, the Volkswagen. ID Buzz, the van.
I don't even know that. Oh, that thing.
The electric
Okay, I know. Yeah, I do know it. Never mind.
I'll take that.
I didn't know it by now.
That's what I was going to say. Let's
That's
take that
better.
ATV over.
Well, I mean, it's not better, but
You could win a Rakuten. You could win a vacation. A 55-inch
to where?
television.
What vacation?
Downgrading 55-inch television. Oh, man, what am I going to do with that?
Put it in another room.
I have a bigger one in my room, and I'm not putting one in the kids. The kids are trying to ask for it.
Yeah.
Our basement, maybe, I guess, could get upgraded. I
we
think
have
we're
a
around, maybe, I think we're in the 50s down there. But anyway, hey, look, man, we'll take a TV. Take a TV.
I looked at the place we're going.
Complain
I don't
about
know why I care about this
TVs.
because I'm not going to be watching a lot of TV when I'm in Florida for spring training.
Yeah, just trade a TV lot.
But like the one downside is the TV in the living room was like a little petite.
Yeah.
It's a little tiny. Whatever. It's not going to matter. We're close to the beach anyway, so I don't care. We'll be good to
you don't
go.
want to be doing
All right, get up. I want the market to go up, but I also want Intel to go up for a potential
Trading
short.
monitor,
IBIT's not really doing anything since we just grabbed out of it. Alibaba, that's really stopped moving. This is sort of thing. It's 240, so a Chinese ADR, like me thinking, look, the level that I like is much closer to 142. You're a full percentage point away from that, so I don't know that I want to just be trying to short this thing at a random area. There's maybe a shot to get one chance that it gives a pop, and then that's the shot to put a little bit of a fade in on Baba. And then I think Amazon might be making a curl here.
Really?
All right, so Amazon not back. Look, if we see 07, I think we got some problems, the prior day high, but I don't see any reason why if 07 held and then we consolidated 08 and broke out and got to almost 10s, why not go 08 or maybe back through 9s here? So Amazon, bit of a bottoming tail candle. This can resume the trend to the upside. So I like Amazon. I mean, I prefer it at 207 and I prefer it at VWAP, but might not be able to get that. Let us know what else you guys are looking at. Johnny H, time to buy Oxy. Every single day someone has asked about Oxy.
Why do we look at it? Yeah.
And I've said, every single day I've said I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it down here. Yeah, triple bottom. Okay, so let it close above that bottom and break the 50 period back up, and then I like to be long in there with the stop below and then let it ride, as opposed to trying to bottom pick it. Because I've never played Oxy for a long-term play. I own XLE and I own Chevron, and those are the only two things that's not. There's only U.S. stocks I own in energy. I own some energy stocks in Canada. Actually, my biggest energy stock would be Enbridge.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
I love Enbridge.
I own some XLE. I do have Enbridge. Enbridge I've been buying since a wee one. So I haven't bought any. I haven't bought anything in Canada.
It looks like a good opportunity right now. I put a stink bid on Enbridge just this. Was it yesterday or this morning? Probably whatever. I put a stink bid maybe like 7 or 8% down from where we are in Enbridge right now. I kind of like where it's at.
Stink bid nation. That just means a lower bid, hoping that it gets filled one day. Like he just, runs down there, you get the fill.
I think the definition to me on a stink bid, it's highly improbable that it would fill that day.
Right.
Right. Like if it fills that day, something drastic has happened on the stock, and you got picked up. To me, that's a stink bid. If you're sitting there and you could get filled, at 9:45 or like in the afternoon on a reasonable range of the day, then you're not stink bidding the stock. So hopefully that answers your question. Escape Planet. GUR apparently is moving. I was focused on Amazon there. We'll have a look at that GUR stock. I promised I would, and then said, don't worry, Sharif will trade it. I don't know if he did.
I don't know if he did either. All right, so we're getting, I'm just looking over here, focusing on this side, because it looks like we will start to get, we talked about here comes right now. We talked about 117 breaking into half of what we have left. Still going to be $2.40, but I did put an offer at 117.40, just thinking that, hey, man, if we did sort of drift up there, we are getting very close to stopping out. So I did put another offer right here at the 50-period moving average, hoping, again, to not suffer too much of a negative fate there. But if it does come back up, we will take another piece out right there. And we still are getting very, very close to that stop level there of 117. Now that I zoom out, I don't know, do I even have the stop order in right there? Yeah, so I don't know why. I guess it didn't trigger yet. 117.02. Okay, so I'm gonna put that back in. I don't know why that didn't. 116.98. Did I put the wrong price before? I thought we did it right. Okay, maybe it just didn't break since I put it in, but I thought I put it in before then. Anyways, okay, we're going to wait for that to break. If it does, we're out of Nvidia or something up a little bit higher. Maybe it is time to flip over to the short, man. I mean, let me look at XLF. XLF took out the top just not too long ago and then got faded back in over the last couple days. So today it's actually up now, so maybe this is not the short that I thought. We looked at XLF earlier on during the morning show, and it was red. So right now, XLF looks like it's way back up right now.
JP's chilling.
Yeah, it's starting to get upside. So maybe that's not going to be the short that we had thought it would be. XLE, that this is probably my largest energy holding, I would think, at this point, but I'm not sure. I haven't checked in a while.
Drip or no drip?
I just drip on everything, so I would assume that this is going to get dripped in there. And it's just a 3% dividend or so, but this is really dripping down the faucets on a little bit here on XLF as you're right back into some of these levels. Actually, you know what? I mean, I'm buying ETFs these days, so this could be a good little level here for energy. Again, probably a little bit better to stay away from this as tariff talk. I mean, we're threatening to turn off pipelines and energy supply and all that stuff, so we'll see if there's any sort of a pushback on that or if that gets going. And then again, you would think that with the settling of, I don't know if Ukraine's ever going to get settled or whatever, or the Middle East tensions, but you would think that if that does get resolved a little bit, oil could retrace even further. So maybe there is some kind of level down here. When we had JC Peretz on, he was talking about, 120 calls, 130 calls and stuff like that on XLE. So, a little bit of a danger spot there where we are right now. I think if you wanted to buy a stock, though, I mean, there are green exposure to this as well. XOM, they are working on different sources of energy. XLE, Exxon Mobil has broken through this level again.
That's Randy.
I was looking over there to see if Randy was over there because he's been pumping tires on this stock for a minute, and this is way down right now. So now we just keep on looking lower, right? I mean, you can't just keep on looking lower left. You got to try to find some levels at some point. And right now, Exxon Mobil seems like it's going through. Actually, I don't think it's right to buy energy stocks right now. It doesn't look like it.
I turn off. So I put drip on, which is just dividend reinvestment. Right, so like the dividend you just put right back in the stock,
and you don't pay any fees.
I turn that off if the stock is in like an obvious downtrend. Like I'm talking like disaster downtrend. And I think I turned it off on Pfizer at one point when I was in that stock. I turned it off on Intel when it was, when I was in it, and it basically got cut in half, like 25 to 50. Like once it broke the trend and was going back down, I'm like, no, we're not reinvesting the dividend here. We'll just take it in cash. So anything that's really bad in that regard, to me, that's the time that I'll turn it off because why do I want to keep getting into it if it's not that good? I'm looking at, I just took Intel in front of that 50 level, but AMD looks interesting here. If the market does pull back, AMD, if we come to my chart for a second, AMD is a red stock. I had it right here it was like a low of the day, didn't get the break, but then shorted it. Left it in when it came back to the upside, and it was like right here, like 99.30. Got some out immediately. It bounced off 99 for a higher low. Shouldn't have reloaded. Like it bounces off a higher low on a bottom break. Shouldn't reload, but did, and then immediately got out. And then thankfully wasn't short again because you saw what happened. But if we can close underneath this trend since that point, then that looks like a shorting opportunity as well. Still don't want to give up on Amazon yet. I said I don't think we get the 207 level, but if it can resume the uptrend even a little bit here, I'd like to jump back into AMZN. So AMD, we just took Intel. I think if Intel breaks VWAP, maybe today it'll be, like if the market's breaking out the top, then I should be reversing like I didn't do yesterday on that. It'll be one of those three stocks, or two stocks, we're already in Intel. AMD short if it can close under a trend line, and Amazon long if it'll break trend up.
All right, let's talk right now about Foremost Clean Energy again, and thank you them for sponsoring this segment one more time. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy under symbol FMST. Go check it out. I definitely advise that. Leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet right now, as we continue to talk about these stocks all day, it's nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. The future is foremost energy. So check it out, FAT there on the CSE or FMST on the NASDAQ. So go check them out, FMST.
We like nuclear power.
You know what, I'm actually going to, I haven't even looked at that stock in just a couple of days, down here to 79 cents. We'll have to watch out to see what happens near at that dollar mark. They were up into that area. We'll see if we can support, well, not we, but we'll see if the market can support a dollar break. So we always look at stocks breaking through a dollar, only 35,000 shares traded today on FMST. So, yeah, all right. Oh, boy. While we were going, face slapper. That's pretty violent. Like, anyways, okay. So Nvidia goes all the way up. So we do not get stopped out there. Like, what is happening with these triggers that are happening to me right now? I'm going to have to find out because we should have. It looks like it broke. Yeah, I'm going to have to maybe change what stop order I'm doing right now or just figure this out because like it looks like it did break 117 there. We were at 116.98. I mean, I guess it could have been a dark pool that triggered, but maybe this order is just not triggering on dark pools. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's a nice move back up to the upside. We're still there. It just didn't trigger. So I don't know. 116.98 is a stop. But at the end of the day, who cares? We're only going to get out of half anyways. Here's a retracement right back up to the 50-period moving average. So if you're still in this, I mean, again, take your own trades, but I advise getting some out right there. Nice move. And then wait for the highs, man. I mean, we're long down here. So that's why it's very difficult to like judge if you're in right now. I would say a change of pace would be the 200-period moving average, then VWAP. So I'm going to still try to figure out. I don't have that many shares left, so I'm not going to panic and look at this stop order now because we had just got filled right there. So now we have less and less of this position, about 5% left. We had 10%. We got out of half there. We're still waiting to get out of half if it does break on that one. Okay, I do want to look at some Disney here. I see that that's moving around a little bit. Maybe some DraftKings. But let's go. Yeah, I know. I mean, what's up, Marshall, in the chat? I know the trend is higher here on Nvidia. That's why we're using the 200 period now. And I've actually canceled that stop order. We're going to see if it wants to work a little bit higher. But all right, we'll look at Disney. We'll talk some more stock. But let's go see what Adair's up to.
I just wanted to mention here, just to recap the tariffs. I know you guys were mentioning them over there. So in case you missed it, during lunch, there was a press conference here led by Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Prior to that press conference, we had heard some reports that the Trump administration had talked to executives from the big three automakers, so Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors, and that after these discussions, the administration had agreed to a 1-month delay for these auto companies when it comes to tariffs for Canada and Mexico. Then during the press conference, Caroline Leavitt, when was asked about this during one of the questions, confirmed that this was the case, that these delays are going to basically end on April 2nd, because by April 2nd, 2025, Trump wants zero exemptions for any companies. All companies that are not building in the U.S. will be exempt to those tariffs. So worth noting there, these auto companies will have a delay for the tariff taking place until April 2nd. But by April 2nd, every company, or I guess every sector, will have to adhere to these tariffs. So that's just a quick recap for anyone who missed that press conference or this update throughout the day. Back to you.
Yeah, and catching bids, GM up 7.5% today. Ford, I'm going to assume, having a good day. But look, if GM's up 7.5%, I don't need to. Here's a chart of GM. At the highs, 7.5%, strong move. We can make the assumption about Ford or Stellantis as well. I think we actually showed Stellantis with a nice bottoming pattern. So Amazon with a little bit of a trend break after pulling back in, prior bar lows under the $0.50. So we'll see where it goes from there. And then Intel, still feel like if there is one stock left that you can look short, it's Intel. Not VWAP, but just like $0.50 in here. And maybe if it breaks the 60s, we get a bit of a squeeze action into 21 like it did yesterday. So that's Intel. AMD, obviously the market just did a bit of a right turn to the upside. So AMD did not, in fact, confirm that trend break. If anything, it's still just riding alongside the trend. So no confirmation there to go short. I think if you're going to short something, like it has to be obviously weak or better fit your parameters. Like I'm not, just because it happened to get a little bit underneath there, there's no close under the trend line. So the trend very much intact on advanced micro devices. I'm going to have a look at Tesla as well because I want a fourth stock to be looking at. And remember, Tesla, long way to go to yesterday's high. So it's just more, I think it's more of a potential why I want to keep it on the burner. Because if it starts doing its normal ham things at 3 o'clock, this is always a good one in that realm.
All right, so we have, we just got out some more of Nvidia. I'm going to put something up there at, and now I'm going to go to 118, just ahead of 118. Put out another piece there as we just kind of, dancing around with some of these ideas right now. So, all right, I want to look at Disney. Disney's at a spot now where, again, I was thinking about the short. It wasn't the long. If we just sort of zoom back out right here, just came right back into this level. You could see, obviously today we did have a nice move up into 111. So maybe that's, telling us that where it wants to go now. But at the end of the day, not up as much as, it's not a NASDAQ name, but it's still half of the ES and half of the NASDAQ, a third of the NASDAQ right now, coming into a level here. So I was debating this kind of a short, 109.60. If the market does turn around, obviously it's going to be vulnerable to that. So we'll see if that can fade back into VWAP, gives us, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Shorting it into 110 maybe is where I was thinking. That gives 40 cents. Is there 40 cents worth of a trade, though, back in for Disney? That VWAP is back down there. It's just our biggest hits have come in the afternoon when we play against the overall market. So that's something right now that when I look at this, I'm not sure that that's going to be the right idea to do right now, would be to go against this market. But again, if there's going to be positive auto tariff talks, maybe that's a good thing, and maybe we get another bit of tariff news coming out later on, which does continue to rally this market. So, I like Disney at this level. I don't think it's a breakout. I'm kind of talking myself out of taking that trade now because, again, the short I'm not sure is going to be right. But again, if you're looking for a short, that could be the name. It just showed up on the scanner for eSignal. We use those scanners all the time. So, and it was just showing me, I guess, that it was at the 50-period moving average on the 5-minute chart. I'm not sure. I'll double check what that scanner was.
Who's today that we haven't really talked about?
DraftKings showed up as a VWAP trade just right now, which is why I brought it up.
Ooh, DraftKings, which is also related a little
4%.
bit to what we were talking about at lunch or after lunch. Amongst ourselves in a meeting.
Yes.
We didn't talk too much about a pretty big earnings name tonight.
Ooh, which one?
Marvell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's
what's their
how many times have I said Rigetti's reporting
11%?
I didn't even say we didn't say a word about Marvell, but Marvell can move more than 11%.
Yes,
23 last time.
Crazy.
It did when I was in Paris and you were on the show with
Joe?
It was no, it wasn't Joe. It was Max.
I'm just gonna start throwing a random names.
Max.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it was Max. Oh,
Maximilian.
Go to Intel in a quick second. The stock went 30-something% that day.
Oh, I remember that story. It broke through
right?
$66. What is the price now?
Oh,
yeah, it was 60. I think it was 66 or something like that.
I like other things. We've talked about them at the 200-period moving average, but if you happen to like Marvell, it's right there.
Nvidia, we just
I wouldn't necessarily buy it in front of VWAP, though, but there goes. Intel didn't break VWAP, but we weren't waiting for it to get to VWAP short, so I'm not going to let it break out there. We took one shot at it. I think this is a reverse long through this high. This actual high is not, I keep saying 60, but it's not. It's 2061 is that local top. But I think if it breaks out this, let's see how far it can go. So we're still in Amazon. Obviously, AMD's not breaking down at this point. If Intel's going up, the rest of the chips are going up because it's the weakest one. I would expect nothing less. But if we break out this top, didn't reverse this move yesterday because we were short the same thing, short Intel every single day until it breaks the trend. But yesterday did not reverse it. Today, not as strong of an up move because yesterday it was actually making higher lows all the way through. So it's not as good of an up move. It's actually beneath yesterday's low as well. So that's more of a scalp trade from there to there. Kind of hard to see. But Intel's clearly having trouble. Unless this closes above 21.5, I think you're still looking short tomorrow. Every day, just stair step lower, stair step lower.
I'm not sure who that was in the chat, but I want to definitely thank you for that. Give props up there. You had mentioned that, hey, Nvidia's in this uptrend. We should probably be sticking in this one. So, oh boy, man. That's so true. We told you we're putting our order at 117.80, so it comes right in. We get filled right there. Pretty easy day right there. Just sit there, get filled right into past support and past resistance. So, yeah, man, we are getting lighter and lighter here as we approach power hour. All right, SMCI. All right, so SMCI again, good name. We've been trading this one for a little bit. We do probably have to pay for shorts. I didn't look at it today. I assume we do. We've been having to pay for shorts every day. So, a name here that we could definitely look at. Nvidia pulling a little bit off of 118 right now. But again, that's a $3 winner. Google's a $4 winner right now. SMCI underneath VWAP, again, flat on the day. So this fits the bill. We're looking for names that are going to be either against trend or, starting to fade out, with the market. You know what? We said we look at the TQs. What am I even doing right now? I feel like this should be a spot for us. I'm just going to put on a 1 unit without even looking right now. I'm going short on the TQ. So there it is. You see that? We just put it in. Why didn't that?
Oh, AMD's losing the trend.
Oh, I didn't even get filled on the TQs. I tried to punch in there. What? Are TQs not shortable? Wait a second.
No way.
Hold on a second.
Okay, I shouldn't say that. It's not.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm in now. All right. I don't know what happened there.
There's no chance. There's no
Ooh,
chance.
it's a good thing I didn't punch short on another name there. So I tried to punch short 72.10s, and we missed it. So I was like, what? But there it is, a 1 unit trade right now, breaking back down below the 50-period moving average. So what we're going to do right now is pretty simple. This is a trade that's a little interesting to me because we've been shorting this, like we've been crushing the TQs over the last couple of days. But the setup's been a little bit different because it hasn't fallen into our lap yet. The market's up today. Generally speaking, we'd love it to be down here where we can take a retracement, then the pop and the follow through. But the last couple days, we've obviously seen the market, kind of fade out there. There's at the end of the day, a huge move down. We actually had that trade as well. And the day before that, there's the fade out. Like we had this short rate here. This was about 400, 500 handles just a couple days ago. So let's see if we can do it again. 72.58. We're going to use that as the top. Pretty comfortable doing that. If we're looking at a 5-minute chart here, so we're right back into there, 72.75. We'll probably use what? That's yesterday? Yeah, yesterday's high, 72.80. So that's going to be our out. So let's just size accordingly, which means we could take pretty much a full position here if we get to 72.50. So let's sit in this for now. We do have a full position potential coming through here. That would be at 72.50-ish or so. So we'll wait for that. Hopefully it comes through.
Yeah, just flat on Amazon there. It broke that local bottom. We got one fill at the top. It came right back through the bottom. So now we're out of it. AMD, I'll get to Intel last. AMD did finally, I swear I hit save. Let's throw it in there again. AMD actually decided to, 3 o'clock, invalid. AMD broke that trend line, closed under a couple times, then started riding the top of the trend line in there. Intel already get to 70? I guess it did.
Intel?
Yeah.
The market.
Oh, I know. I just accidentally. Well, I was going to take it to here, but so the reason that's purple, I'm not short Intel. I guess.
Position board fine? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a take profit up here. And I think what happened is I went to throw another 70 order, but I already had an order there. So that's going to code as a sell because I already had an offer at 75 to cover everything that I had. So that break's going to work, but I meant to hold it just a little bit further. And we'll buy dips going into VWAP on Intel as now all of a sudden it looks like
here goes the market.
Relatively strong one. Yeah, there goes the market. So we're out. Yeah, see, the shorts didn't work.
Nope.
Forget about the shorts. That was an accident getting out of the long on Intel. I am not short that stock. That was a bad cover. There, I'll try to get back in. Hopefully we get the 60s again. Adara? Right.
Yeah, Dara.
Booz Allen Hamilton on watch here. So from what I'm seeing here on X, it seems like this has to do with Doge, not the coin, but the Department of Government Efficiency. So about 98% of Booz Allen Hamilton's money basically apparently comes from the U.S. government. There was a memo from 5 days ago, it was reported by the Wall Street Journal, calling for a review of $65 billion worth of contracts towards the company. Now, apparently, senators are telling Doge that these cuts need congressional approval. And again, I'm just seeing this from Bespoke on X. So basically, rumors that Doge requires congressional approval for its cuts is sending names like Booz Allen Hamilton, which would be very much harmed by those cuts, to the upside. So BAH moving up on some Doge-related news, guys. Back to you.
What is this company?
I mean, I have no idea what this company is. Booz Allen Hamilton Holdings?
It's a cool sounding name.
Is it because it's booze? Yeah. I mean, I
Someone in
don't.
the chat, save me from Googling them and tell me what they do.
I don't know. All right, so we'll check it out. Thanks, Adara, for all of that.
They're an AI company, digital transfer.
Okay, so thanks, Adara, for that one. All right, so there it is, man. Let's go, props it up. We talked about what we're doing, so let's just keep doing it right now. So it's just a small trade. We are now in a 13-handle winner now on the TQQs. We talked about where we wanted this stock, where we would load it up. I mean, we didn't completely load it up. That was a big move northbound there, so it made me a little nervous how quick that got going. So we didn't put on the fullest of positions. That's 72.50. I'm still waiting. Actually, I don't even have any more offers. I think I have to get a little more aggressive on this play, that's for sure. So, all right, so we just take a couple outs actually in the 20s there. Let's see if it wants to fade back out. I don't know. That was a nice move to the upside right there. We are going to play off of 72.80s, which was this level. So I'm getting a little bit, remember what we said, we would rather go long on dips to see if we can catch some return on this play. So we're a little nervous about it. I think we'll take some more, a little bit closer to this though. Like that's 72.75. Let's wait to see if we can get it almost all the way up. Like if we can get something, I'll put something here at 50s, and then I'm going to put a much bigger order in and around. Let's go to 60. Let's double our position at 65. All right, so here it comes, 65s. We're not going to get the exact top, obviously, or maybe we will, but that's going to be the level here. Again, risk management, pretty key right now. We'll sit there, we'll double up our position. That will give us an average price of around 50 to give us about a 30-cent hit, which is fine by me. I mean, we don't want to take the hit, but as far as risk is concerned, I think that would be okay. We just took out 10% there for like that 15 handles or so. So we do know there's some potential here for this to come back in. So we'll wait for this now. Again, if we're going to roughly take a 30 handle hit, we should try to take about a 30 handle winner. So even though we don't have a full piece, let's just wait. 50 period moving average is at 10s. So let's put some bids a little bit lower and see if we can get those just in case we do crank a little bit lower. So 72 15s, we'll put let's put 25% down there. All right, if we do get a fall down, then we'll take it. Otherwise, we'll just sit in here and wait to see what happens next time. So yeah, so far so good here, but
yeah, that was a stupid.
Here comes the move down.
That was a stupid keystroke on that.
Oh, really?
To get out of it, to get out of all of it there before it kind of got going. I tried to pick it up. It didn't get back to VWAP. Tried to pick it up at that 70 level where we got into it before. Joked people in the chat. Someone in this chat might have worked at that Booz Hamilton. So I guess you must mean yourself, David. Otherwise, it's a weird thing to say unless you didn't work at that company. So federal contractor, an AI company that I had never heard of. Which, you know, one of the best things and one of the reasons why I think this is the best trading community out there, there's many reasons, it's to share knowledge, right? Like, we don't know every single stock in the market. We're going to be unfamiliar with certain things. And, you know, we don't trade Forex. There's lots of stuff that we do or don't do. And so I think that group community effect of being able to share knowledge ideas is fantastic. So thank you guys so much for all of that. The stock, I pulled it up. It kind of went up, came back down. I didn't see a trade in that Booz Hamilton, but I do see one in Intel. Just want to be able to get into this trend, ideally before we get to 21. 21 has been the turnaround spot where I still think it's a bit of a short. I'd like to jump back into this long if I can. There's a couple other names to watch here. We said Tesla has a chance at a breakout. In that move up, the market got to the high. Tesla's still not going. No break at the top yet. I think it's got a real chance if it can take out that high, but starting to accelerate a little bit here. Damn it, there goes Intel. Now it's at like 85. Right, I'm trying. I don't want to chase it at this point. It's kind of annoying.
All right, another win here for Nvidia. I mean, Nvidia goes right back to the highs of the day. We're going to take it out there. It's a $4 winner, $3.50 winner. Google's the $4.50 winner right there. So I actually changed my TQs order to up to 70s. I know it sounds a little crazy to change it 5 cents, but we'll. Little nervous. I don't want to give back too much of the day on trying to short the futures up here, but we haven't been wrong yet. So let's just wait for it. Hopefully it comes in. I'm not overly convinced about it, but at the same time, we'll have to give it a shot right there. Okay, another name that we looked at was SMR today. That was a great log. We wrote down on the sticky note. This was only one of 5 plays on here. We wrote down long between 17 and 1650. So we have a 17 fill and a 1650 fill, and then all these were out, and then we lost on, I think it was the last 20% or so as we dripped down into that. So still a positive stock for us, but look where we are. We're out here near the highs of the day on SMR. So if you stuck with this trade, congratulations. It looks like it's going to pay out for you. There today, bouncing off the 200 period. Another great look there today for SMR. Now, we got out of Palantir right there for a monster winner, man. I mean, we're long down here at 83. We covered it at 89, but right now it's at 89.50. So it is still still continuing to make an upside move here for PLTR. But again, that 90, I mean, we do like even levels on stock, and Palantir bouncing off 90, 90.50 there. So could be something to look at. It goes all the way back into here. So very similar to what we're trying to look for here on on the futures is kind of the same trade here on Palantir. You could take out this level and go long, but then you're just running into too much up here. I don't know. I'm not super excited about any of these longs or shorts right now. We're almost into our full position now on the TQs all the way up here. We told you we're waiting for 69s. We'll take a little bit at 65 if we can. There it is. And wait for one more fill up there. And then we're getting stopped out if this breaks through 80. I have the 90 as a stop. So our average position should be in and around 55s or so once we get full up. And then we'll take a little bit of a hit here, it looks like, on the TQs, especially if we keep running up. But this is like, honestly, for me, it's kind of like lesson learned. We know that we're in a little bit of trouble here shorting the futures into such a strong day when the catalysts have been positive today. It's risky spot, but you know, we'll try it for something to do. It's not a huge trade. This is not something where we're putting in 10 units or anything. I would say this is probably about a 3-unit trade. So we'll take a full position. It'll be about a third of what we've normally been doing, but we'll wait for it. It's the TQs. Adara's got news.
I hear on Riskified, RSKD, a couple of minutes ago, I started seeing these reports here on X. The company, which is a fraud protection software firm, is reportedly working with partners from Catalyst or Catalyst. Catalyst may be pronounced with the Q. Regardless, they're working with these partners to explore a sale. So RSKD and talk with partners for a potential sale. Guys, back to you.
About if it's not
sale,
if it's not like easy to figure out how to say your company name, you're getting a little cute with it.
Yeah, what was that? Risk or something?
No, Catalyst with a Q. Like, obviously, I get it, but make it simple, man. Anyways, it's like a pet peeve for me. Intel's already at 21. It's pretty much just tagged the 21 level, so the chase is not going to be, and it has to do some kind of a real. I'm just not going to chase that move. It has to do some kind of a real dip that gives us a level to work off of if we're going to be able to get it. And then I'm brought back over to, all right, Baba. Baba is absolutely barcoding.
Taking the futures more heavily.
Absolutely barcoding right here. It just cannot break the 41. So I've given it a chance. It's now 310. This is the level that I was looking for on this one. So I'm going to take the shot at this. So 41 is the literal high. 99 is the top. So it's kind of an easy out if it breaks the even dollar on Alibaba.
Like we changed our price there because we were getting a little bit too conservative. We would be in the money now on the futures, and I could sort of wash this trade out. But we just got back to flat, but we put on. I told you we didn't put it. We moved our order to 69. We were at 65. We get a 65 fill. I put it up 3 more cents. It went to 67s. It could still come back, but that little flush right there went to 35s. So, like, we did have an opportunity to get out there. I'm going to put a bid, see if we can get a 36 fill there, just ahead of it. We'll take 10 handles if it does flush one more time. I hate seeing those flushes and then a retracement back up, especially when you're going counter trend. You know, like, that could have found a little bit of a bid support. It doesn't look like it. It's not necessarily ripping north or anything like that. But we'll wait to see if we do get a fill downside right now. It's a 5-handle winner. We're at 36s. You just saw 39 on the bid. Maybe we get a push down. You know, debating taking a little bit off. We have about that. Like I said, we're going to try to get about 3 units. We have about like 1.8 units or so right now. So we're not fully invested. We're not fully like into this trade yet. But too bad. We were just missed that fill down there. So okay, we'll wait for it again to see if it does come through one more time on that one. All right,
super chat.
Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
The super chat's oddly enough about Darcy in the chat. What do you all think of Victoria's Secret going into earnings tonight?
What is the implied move?
Can you check the implied move because I don't have the one up right in front of me.
Here,
but yeah, maybe they should keep their weekly chart a secret, is what I think about Victoria's Secret.
5th.
That's not a great pun. I think Adara would come up with something better. Adara would come up with a great one. Obi would come up with a good one. They're not victorious. This is a weekly on Victoria's Secret. The good part, well, it's got a 9% short float. It's already down 8% today.
It has a 20% expected move.
It's given up, what is that? Given up 50, 60 something percent from the highs. So it's already bleeding going into the earnings. So like it's like, well, how much worse could it possibly get? And then you got the short float. That would be the good news. I don't know anything about the company. I can't really give you any goods there when it comes to that. There is also a support level on the weekly chart, but on a weekly chart, I only care about support when it tested and closes above a couple times, or at least once. So, you take that with a grain of salt down here at about $15. But I think the good news would be it probably doesn't take much out of them when it's this bad. And it's been really, really bad for them on the weekly. Like this is, you're talking about since the beginning of the year, 49 to 20, 21 or whatever we're at right now. So it's been pretty nasty, and it's got a good short float. 20 expected move, you just said, right? So that's pretty hefty. I think we can expect some fireworks about it, but I don't like trying to catch bottoms on those. I understand a lot of people like to do it. I like to get it after it's made the bottom and it's on the way back up, so I know where I want to put that lower high stop for myself. You're probably looking to play it with options. We said this, Riley worked out for somebody in a similar situation. This is I guess as long as you have an out. It's not like, that's a really nasty looking chart. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they asked for your comments, so that's okay.
I always try to,
gotta give it.
I try to give something, like some positives there when I don't like anything. Like I'm not a huge fan I'm very picky about retail. I hate the shoe business. I think you got to watch out for, you got to have very good, even like the good brands have been struggling these days, right? So I think if a retail name's getting punished, why try to fight it? I like 2 companies in retail right now. And it should almost be like just Amazon, 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 Amazon. But I also like, Walmart's in there.
Yeah, there's Walmart. Yeah, I thought you were going to go with Costco and Walmart, but you went with Amazon and Walmart.
I love Costco. I've just decided Walmart instead of Costco. And that comes from trying to own fewer stocks. That's all.
Okay. All right, so yeah, just again, thanks Neil for that, and thanks for everybody for the questions. Like that kind of stuff, like VSCO, we can definitely have a look over there and sort of analyze some of the stocks. Just bring it to our attention, and we'll do our best at that. All right, just real quickly about Tesla here. We're getting close to the TQs. You sort of know the plan of action there. Our Google and our Nvidia, we've been taking them out as the market's been going higher here and been pretty fine with it. So we'll just let that settle down and see if there's going to be a trade. Yeah, Tesla not doing anything, kind of doing the opposite as the market kind of hits the highs right now. Yeah, it is giving me a little bit of a pause for concern, right? Maybe Tesla does want to go lower if the market does turn here. Market just made some nice levels up there, and Tesla's still about $1.50 away. Is that its high today? Let me just check. Now, yes. So it's actually it's higher than its high today. So we just made that high at 279. It's past high in there, 278. Looks like that would have been a good fill there. So I think if you're going to look short, this could be a good name, 278 short, giving it $1. And then if that market does come in, then you will be able to reap a little bit of benefits there from a downside move in Tesla. So I would say that's going to be looking like a short. For those of you that have asked, we just took a little piece out there on the TQs as we're starting to fall back in now. Now it's 11 handles. Now it's 12 handles. Neil? We're doing it again right now. Now it's 20 handles. Now it's 30 handles. Now it's 30 handles right there in the money. We got reloaded, and there it is right there. Real traders unite. As we talk about that, we talk about futures trading. You guys wanted more of that. Now it's 40 handles in the money. This is what we're doing, man. We go into the gates of hell with these futures. We'll see how low can they go, but there it is right there, man. We put it, again, putting our money where our mouth is, man. Like we just took that fade, more shares up there. We just got some more right there. Boom, to the downside goes the futures. So there it goes, man. Nice move to the downside here for the market. Wow, Neil, are we doing it or what right now, man? You should follow this trade next time, my guy. Big time movement to the downside. There goes the futures, 71.90s, 71.93s, 70 handles now in the money as we continue to go to that downside. So right there, the TQs lights it up again for us. We've talked about this trading here into the afternoon. Oh my gosh, you know what? It's about that time. Let's do a new segment right here. Let's see if the luck can continue. It's roll up the rim. We still got a little bit left, but it's a little cold. Let's see if, oh my, right now, Neil, 100 handles in the money now on the futures. Those of you that do not believe in that trade, it's fine, you don't have to. All right, rolling up the rim to win, and it is another please play again, but who really cares? Maybe we'll buy a franchise. Nice move to the downside right now. Let's bid something out at 62. Neil, man, we're making them sing today. There's that futures trade once again.
That's what it's all about. Great one over there. I took one short. We got it. And finally, Alibaba did something. We got some 88s in there as well. Simple stops at the even dollar. It never broke 141. Just took some out in front of the lows, and we'll play it into 140. We got 319 here, so we have 20 minutes 30 minutes till the imbalances come through. Plenty of time for lower high reloads. The other name that broke trend is Intel. I did try to get this one. It was a very sharp curl when Intel got up here to 21. This is the candle, so a reversion entry wasn't all that possible. The candle was like 1% to the downside on Intel on that 3 minutes, so catching it would have been a chase. Now that it's starting to come back up, and look to the short to the 21 level. That line doesn't mean anything. This morning I loosely drew a line around 21, and it ended up at like 95. So I want to short this one back into that local high, but Alibaba working nicely. Got about $0.50 in the money and is trying to bounce here. I'll reload a lower high if we can, but I want to get into this reversion on Intel into 21 even. Just want to try to be specific with the entry, and then now that I have those orders in, I can show you with Baba. If it tries to put in a lower high, right about 140.60, this resistance level in here. If I'm playing it to the 141 even, I want to confirm that we have a new exit point, and that hasn't happened yet. So when there's a new exit point, then I'll get in. But I want to take your shot right in front of your level, hold it. If it breaks, it breaks. When it makes a new one, or if it makes a new one, then we can reload that trade down here at 140.60. So no entry yet in Intel, but I think that's just a yet. I have a good chance it's going to move back into those highs and give us a fill.
All right. Again, we just literally got out of like 70% of that trade because we were nervous about these futures to begin with. It comes right into past support, so we wind up getting out, of those levels right there. So, good out for us. I don't know, man. 71.60 is like, maybe we can get it again. I have a bid now at 71.62. That's right at this low, so maybe we can fill that and then come back in. So that would be a trade that I'm looking to do right now. Again, was nervous about the short. We didn't have as much confidence. I mean, if this was a much bigger trade, I would have let you guys know. We talked about it, we had 1.8. We did get another little bit there. So we're in about a 2 unit or so call, which is fine. We never really have a 10, like 10 would be maximum for me. I haven't really experienced that yet on the futures. So I'm not, I'm not trying to push it that hard, but we'll wait on that right now. We only have about like 25% left, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm going to put a bid out right here at 92 and just take that fill. And hopefully we can get that. And then we'll be back into about that 20% or so fill right there. So hold out for 71.50, says Jay Lee. Maybe. I mean, we're already, guys, today is like an infinitely great day. We're at about 4 times our daily goal there. So it's been a good day for us. And this futures trade definitely helps that out. So let's go. We just missed that fill. So let's let it float back up. We'll still take that fill up there at the top if we do get it, but definitely take advantage of those moves down, and that advantage we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's an early look imbalance on D-Wave. D-Wave is 1.3 million shares to buy. That's QBTS over there on the New York. For anyone, okay, so this is going to be gigantic. I understand you're going to see a stock with a 28 million sell imbalance, and it's 3 o'clock. So I'm going to do this, and so when everyone's asking about that imbalance when we show it later, this is what ALTM looks like. So this is the bid ask of the company that's being deleted today. So that 29 million imbalance, look at the bid ask. You just suffice to say it's not going to move. So it is a gigantic imbalance, and it hasn't really moved all day today. But the big one, I think, right now would be QBTS at 1.3. Other ones pop up there. We'll let you guys know. I see AVTR. Something vaguely remember what that stock is. But, yeah, the big one to me is going to be that QBTS. I just missed a chance at a reload up top on Alibaba. I think it got to like 83 or 84, and I was sitting at 86. Going to leave the order in, see if we can get, it's either refill on a lower high or refill at the high into 141. And if 141 breaks, we just get out. Intel did not come back to 21. I was sitting at 93s. It got to 90, maybe 91 in there, and already starting to roll back over. So I have to look lower high there. I don't want to chase Baba too much, but I will give it a little bit more room. I can take something in the 70s is pretty reasonable as well if we can't get something in the 80s. I have a lot on that offer.
I mean, we just got 62s. Like, now here's 100 handles, still going a little bit lower right now for us. So, I mean, this is This is good so far. Yeah, so about that. Maybe our next fill is going to be at the 200 period moving average. Yeah, so 71, 7105, 7106. You know, let's put a bid at 7120. Like, we're just getting more and more out. So, like, now we only have 15% left of this trade. We talked about taking 100 handles there. We did that. That's just random. It's just, this is the bottom. I don't really care. I don't say when we're $1 in the money, generally I'll take it. We have fun with that stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to trade off levels, right? And if you don't trade off levels, then some of the stuff you're doing could be considered a fluke. So we don't want to do that. This is why we rinse and repeat it every day. We try the similar stuff. We try to tell you about share sizes. And so far, this guy's way too loud in my ear. All right, so I'm going to put a bid there at 71 and change. I haven't heard a single thing all that. Yeah, you must not be connected. Yeah. All right, 71.40s. We'll put a bid down there, and then we said we'll put another bid at 71.20s. Let's go to 25. We'll put out just a couple percentage points at each one of those levels. Thinking about stopping out a little bit more here at 72.13. So let's just put that order in right now. Like, these stops were like 30 handles. And we made 100 handles. So it's doing okay for us so far. All right, let's get out of 50% or so of that. Let's see if this works. 71.15, we'll get out. It didn't work the last time for Nvidia. So, all right, 71.15, we'll see if we can get out. Oh, during that tank down, we did get out of some Nvidia. It did break the 50-period moving average. So we have one piece left there now for NVDA. And again, we don't have any red names today, so it's been a good one. And we'll just continue to hope out that we don't have a red name. We can't be red on the TQs. We already have that stop in right there, obviously. And yeah, we may not take any more shorts. We'll assess that when we get up to that upside there on the NASDAQ, and we'll look at that point. So yeah, right now, if there's any other names you guys want us to look at, we've looked at Tesla, we've looked at Rigetti. That BBAI, I'm in this name right around this price. Well, I'm at 496. We did the math for you yesterday.
They report tomorrow night.
Yeah, they report tomorrow night. That was a mistake. We did hear someone mention that in the chat. So I'm not really worried about the report. Even just a couple hundred shares, whatever that I have there, I'm willing to let it fall back in. I just thought, an excited name there. They got that Department of Defense contract. They're an AI play. They're a data play. So we've seen what happened to Palantir. I mean, I was long Palantir at 9. It went up to 40. It came back to 7. There's lots of opportunities in many of these names. So I do like Big Bear, and we sort of stamped that as a possibility there, for some action, and we're in it. So I like that play. Palantir, again, another one of ours that's been, a great opportunity to hold and gain some wealth from that kind of a trade, and it's been working out. All right, here come the futures. Let's see if this stop order triggers or not, because we're about to get stopped out of half at 72.15. If it doesn't trigger, though, I'm going to manually get it out. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Other than that, not much else. Please put your chats in there, and we'll see if we can identify.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of symbols in there. I saw HIMS, I saw Robinhood, Oklo. There's a bunch that I'll get to, but Bob ran 141. Sometimes I don't like putting an even dollar stop, but I put an even dollar stop that time. So I got out exactly at 01s on Alibaba. Not going to hold it through, but there's been a lot of names. Robinhood, great stock. I forget what the story was this morning. It was, I know, now I remember. No, they're doing a contest. It's like a Bitcoin giveaway. They're doing like a trivia contest for $1 million worth of Bitcoin.
Right.
Or sorry, yeah, $1 million.
Something like that.
Yeah, $1 million US notional
445
Bitcoin at 445. So that was the Robinhood news. I don't think it necessarily is it doesn't matter as a catalyst. It's basically following what the market is doing. It's like a lot of other stocks, double bottom, trying to hold a 50, trying to break a bit of a downward trend. If this catalyst gets it going, why not? Let us know. If you guys enter this thing with Robinhood, let us know how you do. Just kind of curious how it plays. Like, what kind of trivia are they doing? A couple of questions that I had in my mind about that. QBTS is another symbol a lot of people have been asking about. That's the one with a buy imbalance on D-Wave. It's not moving, but there is a 1.3 million early look buy imbalance on D-Wave. If I start to see it go close to 350, it might be a potential breakout on the imbalance coming in at 350. So it's worth watching. And then Okta on earnings. This was a blowout. This was like the only stock that was gapping up because everything was gapped down yesterday on their earnings play. Earnings continuation for Okta. It is now, don't jinx it, it is now at a 52-week high. It just broke, I think, maybe a few seconds ago. That's why you guys are bringing it up. this one really could go. See how everyone's always talking about like when's this stock A or X or whatever bottoming? This is the perfect example of why try to pick the bottom, let it make a bottom and a higher low, and then trend off of that, and now you've got yourself a breakout on Okta. I think this could just be in the first inning here. This was almost a $300 stock in 2021. But yeah, Okta, good luck. Congratulations if you happen to have it. I don't think we even looked at it that hard after earnings because everything was so far down yesterday in the morning. There were way too many other names to look at, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had SMR. We had to see some Oklo, so we did get taken out there. Actually, my stop didn't work, and I actually wound up getting 72.10s on that. So I'm gonna have to adjust that and figure out what's going on. All right. So SMR was the long play that we had today. That worked out well for us. That was a positive return. I do see some chat there, so I'm gonna identify it. Some people were asking about Oklo there. What's up? XEUREB. Exurb. All right. So again, another nuclear name. This is one that Sam Altman was, I guess, in. I mean, I don't exactly remember the report there.
Was he in or did he endorse
invest in it? Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
But anyways, so downside move there. Some of these names don't really have any earnings to report or anything like that. So I think you're just playing that hype. Remember, there's going to be the Quantum Expo or something happening pretty soon. So I could see some of that. Oklo's not quantum, but just this is nuclear. As we fall back in here and we talk a little bit about energy, the quantum name, we talked about QBTS, we talked about Rigetti and earnings tonight with that. So down into $30. That looks like a good spot. Where's the 200 period? It's trying to develop itself right there at $18. So a big move to the downside. I mean, that's a great bottom down there. What's it up today? Down 2.5%. I don't know, as some of these nuclear names are looking to catch a little bit of a bid, I guess. I would say 29 looks pretty good. That looks like a great level to me. You get that garbage out of there. I would buy some Oklo, and maybe we'll do this because we are long SMR. Buy some down here around $29. We can figure out when they're reporting. Maybe we can look at this even together. Maybe they have already, so I'll just say I'm a little bit uneducated on that. We'll click on Oklo right there. The PE, like I said, obviously I was going to say there was no earnings, and there isn't. So that's coming through there as well on the PE side of things. We'll look at the calendar, their earnings, their next earnings report. Aftermarket, no, that's not going to be right. That's October. 24th of March, it looks like coming through. Aftermarket Q4.
That's just in a week and a half.
Yeah, so that's going to be 2 weeks, almost 24th of March. So we'll wait.
24th.
Yeah, so we'll wait for that coming through. Expected EPS minus 7 cents. So if you want some advice on all that, man, I know I'm in SMR and all that, but a wise investor might not invest in something until it turns a profit. We saw Palantir get going as soon as that had happened. So you may want to wait to see if they do turn something. And even if it's up 20% that day,
like
at least
Uber was.
Yeah, Uber was an example of that.
Uber is an example of a stock that you could have just waited until they turned things around, and then you didn't need to sit in it like some people did for a while. Because, and don't get me wrong, like when it goes, you're like, look at me. But there's the opportunity cost. Just stick it in the index, and then the second the company turns a profit, then jump into it and get the money right at the upside. Zscaler, another one, aftermarket as well. That's one that could go you get all these cybersecurity names. What I'd be concerned about with them is, remember the punishment that Crowdstrike got? So anytime Crowdstrike does something, I assume the same thing's going to happen. If Zscaler has a solid quarter and dumps almost 10%, then you buy it in the morning. And don't buy it aftermarket because that's the Crowdstrike experience, everybody. And we've seen it. Palo Alto did exactly the same thing or a similar thing too. Like it just punishment and then wow, Zscaler is actually above the open high. Sorry, CrowdStrike's above the open high and breaking out as we speak. So, yeah, I'd look for the same playbook on ZS. That's going to be aftermarket. Join myself and Adara in the aftermarket show. So we're in Intel underneath the 21 level. If it breaks a high, we're out. If it gets to VWAP, I'm already bidding out on that one. What else is there? Can you please chart OPK? Don't know them. And Joe's cool uncle, I sat in Uber 4 months until it was green again. You know what, though, when you have something in the long term, I tend not to, if it's in my long-term account, I'm not worried about the swings. I'm worried about it trending down. If something is trending down, then I'm worried about it in my long-term account. I'll maybe address it or start thinking about what I should do with it. But if it's just pulling back a little bit, who cares? This OPK doesn't seem like it's doing anything, if you're asking about it. Small capper, that is what we call barcoding. I don't remember who coined it on this show, but that's the definition of barcoding. Nothing to see here unless maybe there's some kind of swing trade for you. So no day trade there. Pulled it up, made me look.
So we just got a hell of a fill there on the futures, man. I mean, we got another piece out there at 12s, at the 50-period moving average. And then all of a sudden this happened. We just got 71.81s. So we just got another 80 handles there on, not another 80, but it came in and filled us. So we put a bid there. My next bid now is 71. I mean, we're going to wait lower. We're at 71.40. We're at literally the low, and then we're going to sit here at the 200 period. Maybe the market does bleed there into the close. So that would be a name to look at. Remember we looked at SMCI, so let's have a quick look at that one as well. It did make that move back in, and now it's trying to climb back higher. We're still in Google and Nvidia, but I'm debating now putting in some stops as it's 330. So some of these imbalances are going to start to hit. SMCI bounced again off VWAP, so that would be another trade that just happened at about what time is it now? About 30 minutes ago, right around 305. It does hit VWAP and then drops $1. So there's another opportunity. I mean, my eyes are kind of glued to what the trades that I have on board right now, but that would have been another one. We have warned many times also about Starbucks. And I talked about this yesterday. I brought this up. We brought this up with Chris Bretcher yesterday. And I was like, dude, what about how far away we are from the 50-period moving average? Starbucks giving back some. I like the short here in SBUX. I just think it's well overdone. Still like the stock, but some negativity in China could also bring this name down. So what's up, Adara?
Just keep an eye on this next navigation here. NN, next nav. I could not find any news on this stock popping up here with volume adding into the close. It is worth noting that we have about a 16% short float. So NN on watch here, near today's highs with this nice volume enhanced breakout. Back to you.
NN. It feels like shouldn't, I don't know. My first thought is like NN should be nanonuclear, but whatever. It's obviously not, so it doesn't matter. But Baba's trying to get back. We got out when it broke 141. You can come back to my chart. Cool. I'm not going to pull up that NN stock. Adara just had it. 141 broke out. It's trying to get back underneath to take another crack at it with about 15 minutes to go until the imbalances. There might be like one last shot. Like I think we will take one shot if it gets underneath the 141, and that's about it. Amazon's going to the downside. Intel is sort of sitting. NASDAQ stock. Here we go. There, we'll just do that. Intel is just sitting underneath the 21, but it could break it back out. The miss was when I got out of that long at 60, at 70. I took the entire thing out on a keystroke. Bit of a missed opportunity because once again, there's now 2 days in a row where Intel has spent the entire day under VWAP, broken it late in the day, and then been a runner right at the end of the day. So I think it's got, I'm not calling it a bid on it, but it's certainly finding some afternoon strength. Like it just trends down, and then the buyers start to come back in, and it's not at random levels. On the daily chart, this is effectively, a good support down here, 1920 on Intel. But yeah, it might be trying to find a little bit of bottom. I would venture to say it hasn't distinctly made a bottom. When Intel makes a low, you know it's made a low. That's been our experience with it down here in that 19 level. Maybe it's not headed to 19 after all, and this 20 is going to hold up. But I'm going to get out at 21 even. I will probably, I got to do the aftermarket show, but there's a half decent chance you'll see me sit until 4 o'clock because that imbalance that you see, this one is like 28 million. I am like all over the offer of it. So if I get anything, it might just be a free shot there. So it's that and QBTS that I'm watching. It's still a 1.3. It hasn't moved to the buy side for QBTS. I don't see anything else popping up there. So we're going to have eyeballs on that. Baba, Intel, that's what I'm watching going into the imbalances whenever they do come. If there's something else working, let me know. CMRX. CMRX. If you're asking about CMRX, guys, that's that buyout. We said that this morning. It being bought at $8.55. I said I would be relatively active in it here today. You can kind of tell when I wasn't sitting at my desk because I didn't trade it for like an hour. But I've been in it pretty much, back and forth on the stock on CMRX. Matter of fact, I don't need bids on this thing anymore because we're almost at the close. So yeah, they're being bought for $8.55 cash. The range on the day is about 8 or 9 cents. So expect that for the next couple of weeks until they close the deal, end of Q2.
Yeah, exactly. So good little look there on that name. I don't trade those buyouts, so I don't have too much comment on it, but Neil does, so that's a good thing that we do that like that. So like I'll trade obviously these Mag 7 names quite heavily. Neil will look at different stuff. We all have our own little thing that we do look at. All right, so just again, I don't know why it says TQ's up here, but I want to look at Disney. So let me just, there it is, okay. That was weird. So Disney, we talked about that short, man. It's too bad. It's too bad. But if you did like some of the stuff that I was mentioning there with Disney, it just came in right there. So that was that short. I mean, we were talking about it and like kind of like the short up here. Didn't take it, so it's kind of irrelevant, but there's a leather look, just giving me more confidence that sure we did have kind of the right idea there. We indicated that this could have been that short. Was a little bit nervous about the futures and where we were with that. Obviously, we made way more money on the futures than I would have on Disney, but at the end of the day, they both work. So there's a nice little move downside there for DIS. And again, we probably should have taken it. We were talking about it being down against the market today, which obviously it is, relatively weak, apples to apples. And talk about Apple, we were actually going to look at this again. And Apple just still can't get green despite the NASDAQ being up 1.5%. I don't think it's Apple's turn or anything yet to get really hit, but we did break that 236 level, which it doesn't look good on the 1 minute, but over here it does. There's that shelf right here. It broke early. That was such a great short right there. That's 236. So right when it came in right off the open, like it broke that level that we had supported and then whoosh. So this was, someone mentioned it in the chat. I give props to you. It was earlier on in the day. Someone mentioned like at 8:30, or maybe they tweeted at me because I put out a tweet every morning asking you guys. And it was just like, watch out for this Apple drop. And we should have been there. Nice move to the downside, breaking through 236 there. So nice little ledge that was broken, and boom goes Apple. I'm not like, if there's one Mag 7 name I'm not worried about, it's going to be Apple. I really think this is again, a great, I don't know why my charts have stopped here, but a great name to look at. And again, Apple, any dips into this 230 area, I think will get bought up. And it looks like I don't have to think that. That is what's been happening. So we'll wait to see if it does make that move. But the last couple of days, sorry about the chart, but the last couple of days, definite negative downturn there. So you know, to get a sell up here near 240, 250 should be good. Remember, Donald's been talking real positively about this investment from Apple. So, and it's still not really moving in the right direction here. So watch out for maybe some negative stories there.
You know what? There was one story on Apple. It was Qualcomm. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Qualcomm had come out with a new modem that was, obviously Apple doesn't go with them anymore. So Qualcomm came out with like a new modem for phones, which they said, now this is what they said was going to be a step above what Apple is doing. So therefore, and they're like, Android phones that have this are going to be better, but there's nothing proven. That was the comment. When Apple was weak today, I hesitated to say it because I didn't think it was that big of a catalyst, but maybe that had something to do with it.
I would mention something to Ramin, but they're busy.
What happened? What?
It's been on me the whole time, which is fine.
Oh, that's,
you know,
it's all good. It doesn't
they're
really,
busy doing
really
something,
matter.
so
The other thing is I saw some people in the chat saying Rigetti's making moves. It's not really. I venture to say Rigetti's going to make some moves after market tonight, right? Like that's the earnings play. Zscaler, Marvell's reporting. There's going to be some movers today when you join Adair and myself at the desk for the aftermarket, for the market recap. Rigetti very much going sideways, and I saw someone also say, why is BBAI not moving? Well, they don't report till tomorrow. I mean, the market's not doing a heck of a, we've been range bound in the afternoon today, so this has been a range bound stock, and they report after the bell tomorrow, which is probably why it's just sort of hanging out here. So, you know, it doesn't have to be crazy moves every single day. We haven't had a major trend reversal. I think that's fantastic for the market. The fact that you're going to, knock on wood, close holding the highs. We've bounced NASDAQ and ES both bounced off the 200 period today, and are going to close, like I said, barring something crazy, adjacent to the highs. A lot of the Mag 7 names have been incredibly strong. I mean, Amazon, there you go. There's your 200 period. If you like it, great. You should have already won there. Google, I could go on the line. Even Microsoft, there's one. Even Microsoft, who has been the worst name in the Mag 7 outside of Tesla, so we'll call it the 6. And it's bouncing nicely today, under the 50, underneath the 200 period. Still don't like them as much as the rest, but up 3% today on Softy. 7 minutes to go. Still QBTS is still there, early look of 1.3. The closer we get to that, that's a significant imbalance on D-Wave. Quantum names can rally, man. If that actually comes out, maybe if it's supposed to be 1.3 and it comes out 1.5 or like 2 million, that could be a nice punch long. Adara?
I looked into this Apple Qualcomm situation. So this happened last night. There was an interview on CNBC with the CEO of Qualcomm, Cristiano Amon. So it's worth noting definitely some bias there because he's, of course, trying to represent his own company. He said that Qualcomm's new modem has, quote, so much AI that it actually increases the range of the performance of the modem. So he said it's going to be setting a delta between Android performance here and iOS devices. So basically just trying to tout their own performance. We know also, of course, Qualcomm and Apple do have a bit of a history, as Neil mentioned earlier. So it's worth noting the kind of, I guess, bias coming there. These comments are coming from Qualcomm CEO saying their new modem is definitely better than Apple's. That was the situation that happened last night. It's worth noting, I never saw this on Benzinga, never populated on Benzinga. I had to search for this story, so I do not know how widely populated it was, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Adara. That's why I hesitate to say it. Like, I read it in one place, and it's like, the analogy I gave John is it's like, you know, the Bills get a new lineman, and they're like, oh, man, this guy's absolutely killing it. Our line's going to be way better than Philly's this year. Like, okay, that's great. You're confident. You should be confident about it. I already have a bold prediction about the Buffalo Bills. I'm happy that I put it in our group chat. I am completely convinced that the Buffalo Bills are going to sign Tyler Lockett, who just got released by Seattle, because we seem to go for the veteran retread instead of trying to find a dynamic veteran wide receiver that we need. So we tried Samuel, who didn't work out, Curtis Samuel. We tried Amari Cooper, who didn't work out. So I'm boldly predicting probably on a minimum contract, they're going to bring in Lockett, which I just don't think that cuts it, man. Go out and get Hollywood. Go make a play, find some money, and go
Hollywood
pay.
Always gets hurt. You don't want to get.
But at least it's they need a guy or find
Do
some.
they? I don't
find
think
some
they
money
do,
and get
man.
at
I
him.
think
You don't
Josh
think we need
Allen-
receivers?
Nah, because
no,
he
we
can work
can.
with anybody. Josh Allen just needs to step up and win, man. He gets beat by Mahomes every time.
Yeah, but the problem is we're losing a couple of receivers. So
I
like
know,
they actually do need a body. They got to get somebody because
Okay.
we're losing a couple of guys again this year.
I just don't know if I think that KC might have.
Peaked?
Had their best days. So we'll see, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of people potentially thinking that. We'll see if they run out of steam there.
Well, you know what I'm thinking.
Kansas City Chiefs.
But I say that every year. So Metcalf requested trade. We can't afford him, Reg.
Pimped out like crazy today.
We
I
can't,
feel
Phil.
like
We can't.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. You let me know when we can do that, Ramin, and we'll get ready to rock and roll. Make sure you do sign right now up for the watch list. That watch list will be coming in hot tomorrow morning,
hot fire.
right there into your inbox. We'll be talking about all the earnings and all of those plays and some of the names that we're looking at. We'll still be spitting out the sticky note today, which has been like. I should get lighter and light it on fire. That's what it's been doing today. It's been on fire, not the plays lit on fire. All right, here come the TQs, man, right back in. Let's put another bid out, man. Beat switch, 75 handles right there on TQQs as it continues to go to the downside. All right, Ramin, let's roll this right now. This is e-signal. I mean, part of the game is having software that you can trust and that's reliable. We talk about that all the time. Switching back and forth between charting platforms can be, tenuous. Like you don't want to keep on flipping back and forth. You want to use the same software. I believe once you switch over to eSignal, it will be the one that you stick with. Over 50 plus brokers can connect to it. Get into their app store, check it out. Data for over 500 symbols at once. Those are the screeners that we're using every single day. Again, entitlement based. You want to trade futures, you can chart the futures. You want to trade ETFs, get NYSE ARCA entitlements. Everything in Europe. We have over 50 plus markets here at Day Trade the World. Yesterday, someone made $88,000 2 days ago here at Day Trade the World. So with that being said, let's figure out who the top traders are at Day Trade the World, and let's just refresh this and figure out the top 10 traders. This is going to be from yesterday, so I'm just going to refresh this right there. All right, so let's just scroll down. Looks like yesterday there wasn't too much. Woo, we got a blue ocean. So 2 days ago we had $88,000 up here. We had $55,000 as well. Yesterday it looks like our top trader I don't know, it seems light from yesterday, but only 11,000 there in Canada. So that was a good one. Someone else in the Canadian TSX made over $8,000. Me and Dara talked about this yesterday on the show, man. Blue Ocean after hour markets trading, obviously. So that's going to be a good one. Amex and NASDAQ, $7,000. These are all USDs as it goes all the way down. So no European markets in here, but Blue Ocean sort of the unique one. So that's the top traders here.
Was it like a holiday in Europe or something?
At Real Trading. I don't know, but we did have some bigger numbers the other day. So I'm not sure what's up with today, but a little bit light on that. So there's the Real Trading numbers. And again, this goes to show you, like, you know, whoever made $88,000 or whatever the day before, whether or not they lost yesterday or not, we don't have the losing numbers. But if you're going to make that much money, you're going to have to take some extreme risks. So it is possible that that trader didn't make money yesterday. I don't know. But those are the top traders there at Real Trading. So the prop firm that we've been at our whole lives. So
well,
again,
trading lives.
Oh, I saw.
Didn't come out of the womb here.
No, I did. But there was still that from news. So back in, I went on CP24, which is the local, 24-hour news service here. I went on there advertising our office when we had it and talked all about that. And so I have that clip. So I should bring that in to show everybody that. We had a lot of fun back then. CP24.
That was like 2005?
Man, that was a long time ago.
05.
So we could definitely check that out. I'll see if I can get that for you.
20 seconds till the imbalances come out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I just flatted some intel because it's not moving. I'm expecting, so QBTS is still a 1.3 buy. Remember, I showed you that stock that had like millions and millions on the bid and millions on the offer. That's this thing. So it'll probably not do anything crazy. You can basically make the spread if you're lucky. So that 30 million one, it might be big. It is, it came out as 30. Nvidia, 2.4 million sell. Right. Well, is that the only thing over a mil? Okay. Merck, 1 million to the buy side. NU, that's nothing. Okay, kind of a nothing burger. Intel, very, very small sell. So Nvidia, 2.4 million to the sell side. Remember I said this stock, 23 million, now 22 million. It's got like a 1 cent spread with, I can almost count 20-something million shares probably on this bid right now of that stock. So it might print the bid, and that's about it. But yeah, Nvidia is the big one for the sell side.
All right, yeah. So we take advantage of this move because we have the TQs, right? So this is our biggest position, and here it comes right back in again. So I'm going to bid some 75s. I mean, this is 100. This is, again, another 100 handles. Same trade, but just looking here to see what's going on. We can get out of our NVIDIA. It just wicked down. It's back up to 117.50. Seems like it might be a little early to get out of it, to be honest with you, but we can. I don't know. And just watch out to see where this trade is going right now. But that's NVIDIA. Google, I did put an order at the high of the day. It did flip up, so that might be also a sell. We have like 1% left of these trades. The biggest trade that we have on board is this one. And there it goes, man. The TQs is really making us like a pretty happy camper here into the close. So yeah, man, I don't want to show too much emotion, but it's a big trade there. So here we go, right back in. That's the TQs. We just got that. That's 130 handles or so off that top. So that was a good one there. We'll end the day pretty high up and just continue to, enjoy sort of the fruits of our labor. NVIDIA, 117.50. Let's put an offer right there. I'm going to maybe just watch out for NASDAQ to get back up. At 355, it's all going to flip up again. So we're going to have that beat switch. And, Intel right now, also a sell, NVIDIA sell. At 355, this will turn around and be buys. So I'm thinking even going long even maybe right now. But here it goes. Nice upside move there. We do have our target for Google at the high of the day. So if that comes back up into there, then we will get out of Google 173.70. So that's about it for me. Just enjoying it. We've got a big game tonight. And see if we can qualify for the provincial. So we're really happy for that. And my daughter came home. She had a little nap throughout the day. She was on the ice today at 6 o'clock. So that should be a lot of fun tonight. We'll see my parents and everything.
6 o'clock? She's slacking? What's going on?
Yeah, it starts at 6.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm obviously joking.
Yeah, that's okay. 6 to 7:30 or so twice a week. So
that's what it's all about. Because it's going to pair off. It's not, there's nothing. I just got out of Intel when it just got down to local support. It's not like rocket science to say that a small Intel imbalance is going to pair off. It's because it does it 99% of the time by 355. So when we say things like that, what did it just get bigger? okay, whatever. It just got bigger to 1.6, but it's not really moving anyways. But it's just that usually at 355, you see a major pairing event. And that's an opportunity, I think, for a bit of a reversal. So I did jump out of that. That QBTS for sure. I mean, yeah, it didn't really, D-Wave didn't really move in there. So yeah, the buy and balance didn't really come out as a buy and balance. It's just Nvidia to the sell, kind of a disappointment. And again, if you're just sort of tuning in, that ALTM, I'm trying. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm trying to get short this stock. It's like it's not gonna move. So I'm trying to short the mid. I'm trying to short the 85 for a boat, and then just see if I can get the bid at 84. But it's not filling anybody. So. I think it'd be free money if I can
huge
get
lineup.
It's free if I can get the offer, and I made it this morning, but it's not seeming to want to fill me. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It gets 30 million to the sell side, but I'm not going to get the fill.
Yeah, I'm also just cancel everything. We're getting close to flat on absolutely everything. We did get that Nvidia fill up there at 118. So yeah, man. I mean, that was a good one. So we're out right there. That was off the long down here at 114. So that was a big one to end the day. And here comes Google right back up into our levels. The futures we just covered, like, again, we covered a bunch right there. We still do have a small piece. Almost, we talked about, having 2 units. We have like maybe 0.2 of a unit now, so 10%. I'm just going to get out, 10% left. Might as well just cover this. Here, we'll bid some 34s. Hopefully it comes in and we'll get that. If not, we may have to pay the piper just a little bit north of that. One more fill. There it is. Okay. Wind that up as we're cooking up a little bit of profit there on that. And there goes Google again to end the day on that one. This is going to be your trade of the day. I don't know if there's going to be a better one, man. Honestly, for me anyways, getting long at 169, that's the low of the day. And we just got the high of the day. So for me, that's going to be a good one. Top off our day again. But yeah, that's it. So there it goes. A nice out there. We got out of Nvidia as well. We talked about some tipsy-turvy stuff happening right there at 355. So out there again, good out, and a good out on the good out everywhere, actually, to end the day. So a pretty successful close. Let's just check in on see what Palantir is doing. 89 and change. Palantir will go out near the highs. That's going to be good. We will definitely be looking at this tomorrow. PLTR starting to go, guys.
Palantir.
Yeah,
exactly. There's so many continuation plays tomorrow. So remember at 355, we're like, it's going to flip. And you're going to get a bit of a bounce. So you don't see 1.6 sell on Intel. It just went right back. It's almost at that 21 again. So that's what happens. You saw Nvidia as well, which was selling bounce at 3.9. Didn't really move that far down, but I guess it tried to bounce. It got back up to like 118. But with only 4 minutes to go, there is now nothing on the locator except for that the stock that I was talking about there. AT&T, I guess, stayed, but who cares? It's only like 1 million to the buy side. That doesn't really do much of anything. I think the big story, regardless of I know we pull back a little bit at the end of the day here, but closing on the highs, there's your NASDAQ, there's your ES. For sure, both these ones are going to look, hopefully, to take the next step tomorrow, which would be, we got to the top. We didn't actually break the top today. I think that goes, we showed you the Nvidia chart just now. There's the NASDAQ chart. There's the ES chart. We got another leg to go. And that's what I want to see happen tomorrow. That would be our continuation if we can take out that top. So I'm going to give it like another minute or two to see if I actually catch a fill on this thing and then head on up to the desk. But I might not get it.
Yeah, no. We'll wait for it, of course. Palantir, I mean, everything is starting to rip now. So everything, basically. We can check out Tesla. It's a name that we haven't looked at here yet today as much. Right back into that level again. So again, great hold if you did that. Right back at the highs. There's only 3 minutes to go. Might not be that much time left. So just be careful with whatever you're doing here on Tesla. Right back up to day's high, up that 2 and a bit percentage points. Great call on that one. For sure, anybody long Tesla today looks like it's going to go out at the top. Everything should go out near the tops as well. NASDAQ, nice rebound day. We talked about it for the triple Qs there today. Just looking at, whoa, where did that go? Where did that go? Give me a hug right there. 504. So that little level right there coming through for the Qs. We'll look to see if it can get above that tomorrow. I'd like to see us open above that. That's only $2 from here. So we'll see if the NASDAQ can get going nicely to that upside and maybe just erase. We'll see what it is on the week. Obviously, it's going to be down still. You're only up right now 1.27%. Actually, it's only Wednesday, right? So if we actually look here, where were we at the beginning of the week? So there it is, Monday 20 down into here. So yeah, we could actually, we're going to be close to positive. We've got to get above this 508 area for that. It's only Wednesday right now, so 2 more days coming. Not sure. We do have jobs on Friday, so that's definitely going to be something for sure to look at. So, all right, that's about it. We are getting a little bit of a move up. We do have a Rigetti after hours. That's today, right?
Yeah.
After hours tonight, so $8. Again, I only went long at $6 on Rigetti when we fell into the 50-period moving average right there. We were able to get out at 9 the very next day. That was a mistake as we ripped up to 14. So I would say just watch out. An implied move, I think it was 20-something% for RGTI. That recent bottom gave you a look there at 667. So for me, 550, 560 would be a level to look at for RGTI coming back in 570 or so. So I guess you're giving up on that?
I'm giving up. I got nothing.
Yeah, okay. So no fills over there. All right, good luck for the closing show there.
All right, good one today.
Yeah, good one.
Rigetti's going to be big. Z-scaler, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Robinhood, yeah, good little look there. We did talk a little bit about Robinhood earlier on today, and I like that name. I like Robinhood. I mean, I just saw someone in the chat mention it there. JP Swede. Yeah, good. Yeah, again. So I think if there's any finance name right now, this would be the one that I think has like the greatest opportunity to give you the best return. I do like JP Morgan where we are right there. We're over 30 seconds now until the market closes. So get ready to support that here. I actually have 30 seconds right now. I wonder if let me see, I have time on here. Yeah, 37. Okay, we're fine. 20 seconds left right now. What do we want to look at? Let's just see where Nvidia is going to close out at. 117 and change. That looks like a good out for us. Man, Nvidia, my number one stock today. There we go. We'll hit the countdown right now with 10 seconds left. So thanks to Dara. She's over there on the ones and twos all day over at the desk. Thank you so much. Foremost Clean Energy sponsoring today's bell. 2 and 1. Thank you so much, Adara. We want to thank FMST for once again sponsoring the closing bell. Go check out Foremost Energy for your nuclear plays. All right. We say it every day. We can't have a show without the viewers. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today. We have over 500,000 subscribers. If you're not one of them, hit subscribe right now. You'll get notified. We have many shows going through. We have videos being dropped all the time as well. Check us out on Instagram, on X, everywhere. I think we're even doing some TikTok stuff these days as well. So check us out all over the place. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls, Ramin today, Fabian today, Andre, everybody, Brendo, Sharif, Joe, and for everybody that we've missed, thank you so much. But a big shout out to Bears vs. Bulls and to all of you for watching us live here on YouTube. All right, we're a minute in. Let's go find out if any of these earnings plays have hit. Thank you from me. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. Stay tuned for our recap show now.
Hello,
recap.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's all good. You can take it away. We got Marvell is going to be the first one.
Yes, it is. And I do not see it yet, nor do I see it on X. But it is worth noting, near the end of the day here, Canada's foreign minister did comment on the Trump talk situation, saying that, quote, the communications with the United States are happening. Things are very fluid. So not a lot of detail provided, but they are still in conversation. Trump alluded to that as well here. Marvell is still not out, but just to recap here, or I guess to provide a little bit of a window, Marvell 4, MongoDB and Zscaler 405. Rigetti is going to be coming in, we don't know, but after the bell. They didn't give me a time. And Victoria's Secret, which I know someone asked about in the chat, that's going to be coming in at 4:15. So that's a little quick window at what we're going to be looking for.
Yeah, and Marvell expected move 12%. It moved 23% last quarter on their earnings. Zscaler implied move 11%, Mongo 13%, Rigetti 17%. So the names that we're tracking, these are definitely movers. Look, if Marvell comes first, you're going to be able to see it happen, really quickly. There's going to be a lot of movement in the stock. This has been bleeding like everything else in the semi sector, so it's right at that 200 period with a little bit of a bounce play. You kind of hope that you've had enough of a fall that you don't have to have a complete blowout here, but it's been pressure for the chips because of all of this tariff talk, and that's been weighing on the stock for sure. What a rebound day. Before we get any earnings out here, because I haven't seen anything yet throwing out there, and I also want to double check Rigetti still not moving. Okay, before we get into it, it was a very good rebound day today. So Tariff Tuesday came and went. It was a drop and then a pop. And today we had some continuation. The Chinese names had a good rebound. Energy, some of energy, the uranium names had a pretty good day. You had materials do well. So it was a strong day across the board. And I said some energy names did well because the XLE stunk, down 1.5%. But I think what everyone is happy about, at least most people are happy about, is to see the nice rebound on the Qs, holding the high of the day. The 50-period bounce happened on the Qs. It happened on the SPY. And I think that's sort of that obvious. If you're DCAing, you expect a bounce to happen there. It has been respecting this. The Qs have been holding this trend for quite some time. Like, look how far you can go back on the triple Qs. You're talking about March of 2023. And every single time we've come into the 200-period moving average, it's been a good buy zone on that index. And the SPY is the same thing. So Marvell, still waiting. I mean, we expected to have some fireworks from Marvell. Obviously, the numbers aren't out. It'll be moving if it were. So first one, Marvell. Ideally, we'll have Zscaler and Mongo as well. And then Rigetti, not sure when they're supposed to report. Rigetti.
We don't have a time.
But you'll know when the stock moves. I promise you that, Adair.
Yeah, I'm still, every time an article pops up here on Benzinga, I hope that it is not Marvell, then other earnings, because we're coming time on MongoDB and Zscaler as well. Alas, we have no earnings. I'm not seeing anything. We just got some Compo Secure. We have some small caps, but nothing with regards to any of these names that we're really waiting for here. So again, to recap, Marvell was expected by now. MongoDB, Zscaler at 405, Rigetti, and Victoria's Secret 415. Those are our timings. That's what we're expecting. I know some people were asking if BBAI is today or tomorrow morning. It's actually tomorrow night. So you've got about 24 hours for BBAI earnings. Tomorrow night, we also have Broadcom and I believe Costco as well. So tomorrow night, great earnings. Should be a good day for spready tickers. Come Friday with that Costco move and with Marvell, or not Marvell, Broadcom. But speaking of Marvell, I am still not seeing earnings, guys. I'm not seeing earnings for any of these names, and I'm hoping that as I keep talking, they'll populate.
Because Zscaler moved a little bit to the downside. It's almost like someone got some happy feet on. Okay, never mind. Somebody might have known something because Zscaler
came out.
It was just down $5 and now it's down 20 or 15. So clearly Zscaler, yeah, this is what Crowdstrike did initially. Remember, Crowd dumped as well and then was able to pop yesterday. Zscaler down to 181, right back to 93. Crazy spread here, and then back into the downside. So you're down on Zscaler. Let's just double check to see if Marvell has moved as well. Marvell to the down 10% as well. Marvell now down at $82. So it looks like 042. Marvell breaking major support, and Mongo, I'm guessing, is also to the downside.
I am not sure. Let me check here at Mongo, but we'll start. Yeah, Mongo. So it's
Mongo
they all
too.
dropped. But Marvell here, I actually have the numbers for. So they did report an adjusted earnings per share beat 60 cents versus 59 expected. Sales, 1.817 billion. That beat estimates of 1.795 billion. Sorry, 1.817, 1.795. That would be a beat. Rigetti, also we just got earnings though. But before we get to Rigetti, I want to go in order. So let's go with MongoDB next and then Zscaler. MDB here coming in. They reported Q4 results. 548.4 million. We were looking for estimates of 517, so it looks like they beat. That's also up, like 40% year over year? 20% year over year. What are their earnings per share? I'm trying to find this here. Not seeing the earnings per share, but it does look, non-GAAP net income, $1.28 per share, also looks like a beat. So MDB seemingly beat. Marvell did beat. We're still waiting on the rest of these numbers. Neil, if you don't mind.
Rigetti is out, but I can tell you, Mongo, it doesn't seem to matter. They just dropped almost 10% to the bottom here. You just saw Marvell as well, looking relatively weak. Just to go out on Mongo, 230 is the higher low support that it put in just back at the end of last year. So 230 would be an interesting level there on Mongo. Rigetti has moved down here. Maybe not. I mean, for Rigetti, this doesn't seem like that big of a move. But Rigetti just pressed back in underneath $8 into $7.80. It's at least holding today's lows. So today's bottom on Rigetti was like $7.64. It's managing to hold on to that. So it's not a complete dumpster fire here like you're seeing with Marvell, like you just saw with Mongo. Marvell's still dropping. Now it's $78. I mean, this is now, it's underneath the 200 period. You got to go all the way back to September for the $70 level here on Marvell. So a little bit of a bleed. It just seems like Some of these chip names can't seem to get away from themselves or get out of their own way here. The only good news so far would be that Zscaler completely reversed this bottom. It has completely redeemed itself. So Crowdstrike decided to wait a day before they would bounce off the lows. Zscaler did not. Now green on Zscaler, only 4 points, but when you consider that they were down almost 10%, I'd say that's a pretty hefty win for ZS. So far, not great for the earnings names that have come through, but a big-time reversal, still trying to go higher here on Zscaler.
You want to go through the numbers here on ZS and Rigetti. I want to clarify what heard Crowdstrike was not their earnings, it was their guidance. I have not seen Zscaler's guidance yet, so I want to put that out there. They are in the same sector of cybersecurity. So for Q2, they did beat here, adjusted earnings of 78 cents per share versus 69 cents expected. Sales also a beat, 647.9 million versus 635.56 million expected. Revenue up 23% year over year, calculated billings up 18%, deferred revenue 25%, et cetera, et cetera. If I see guidance, though, I will let you know. But let's get quickly first to Rigetti. So Rigetti here, we were looking for, well, let me look at my notes again, losses of 8 cents per share, revenue of 2.4 million. I am seeing revenue of 2.3 million. But I always like to wait and be cautious because sometimes, as I always say, the estimates that we see are not always the estimates the market's going to go with. It takes a while for us to kind of come to that consensus estimate that we're going to go with. That being said, it looks to, based on my notes, they did miss here on revenue. I am not seeing their losses per share, and I've scrolled through here, so I can't give you guys a number on that yet. But again, we're looking for 8 cent loss per share. Also, I saw a note on Micron, but just due to all of the sauce of all the earnings, I didn't get to talk about it. Micron appointing some new members to its board of directors. Mark Liu is one of these individuals. He worked with Taiwan Semi for 30 years. The other individual is Christy Simons. So, Christy, let me find Christy Simons' background. Oh, assurance, senior audit insurance partner of Deloitte. So, Deloitte and TSM, former employees coming to join Micron's board of directors.
And then we have another earnings name here. Lending Tree's up 11% right now, as they had a beat on top and bottom, actually turning a surprise profit. They were supposed to lose 5 cents a share on Lending Tree, and they made $1.16. Revenues, big beat on revenues, 10% beat on revenues, 261 versus 235. So big name there, big beat for Lending Tree. Not a huge move in the daily chart, but 11%. Seems like in this earnings cycle, you'll take every double-digit winner that you can get. So we already showed you that Zscaler and that Rigetti. Remember, the fact that they're, look, whether losing money, making money, this is a company that was moving not because of necessarily fundamentals, but because of hype. So as long as it doesn't blow out the bottom on earnings, hold the low. I feel like this is the kind of name that if it holds the low, there's just so much room for it to still go upside. So, regardless, I think when we look at Rigetti tomorrow, you're more concerned with the tape than you are with the numbers that came out. Because let's be real, who was buying Rigetti on fundamentals from $3 to $20? I'm going to suggest nobody. So all it has to do is not flop here on earnings, and it gives it a chance. So, but a little bit of a disappointment here, I'd say, for Rigetti. Always happier if it could have squeezed. Jumping back up to what is the bell of the ball right now, and that's going to be Zscaler. Now 8% up. It just tagged 210 with a little bit of a pullback, so it's catching a bid. This is just another example. This particular name is an example of why you don't want to get trapped trading in the aftermarket on earnings. Very dangerous game, because if you put that short trade in, hey, maybe you're super fast. I don't know. I'm 45 years old. Maybe you're fast enough to have gotten that short and very quickly made your money. But if you didn't, you could have been absolutely blasted. The slippage would be huge. Maybe you lose $5, maybe you lose $10, maybe you lose $15, who knows. But big time reversal here on Zscaler. I kind of feel like the cat was out of the bag with the reversal on Crowdstrike. And because there's no guidance to be faded. We just got
guidance, I was going to say.
Oh, we did get the guidance?
Yep.
Just came out. Tell me it's good.
So, as you know, Crowdstrike missed their earnings per share guidance by like $1 for the year. Zscaler's is not as bad. So adjusted earnings per share for Q3 2025, 75 cents to 76 cents per share they're seeing. That is above estimates of 74 cents. Revenue gets a little tricky. They got a Q3 revenue between 665 and 667 million. That does miss estimates of 667.37 million, but it's worth noting none of these numbers are even close to as, I don't want to say bad, but as weak as the Crowdstrike guidance that we got yesterday. So Zscaler revenue guidance, tepid, not great. Same with EPS, but again, if you were compared to Crowdstrike, you would have expected a lot worse.
Which is what I think matters. CrowdStrike's guidance was 25% underneath, something along those lines. It was over 20% underneath the expectations. So even flat guidance by Zscaler is slightly lower is going to be seen as an improvement. So I think that's why you're able to hold up some of those bids. We do have, I do believe we have Victoria's
Not yet.
No?
No.
Why is it? Okay. Yeah, Victoria's Secret. Okay, it did move down. So anyways, I was reacting to Victoria's Secret moving down. Maybe they're not out.
It's been moving down since like the close, to be fair.
It's been weak the whole
this
time.
This move doesn't look like an earnings
No.
move. I didn't see it on Benzinga, and I haven't seen it on X as of yet. Of course, we will let you guys know if we see anything. I'm just going to keep reading through these Marvell earnings. So their guidance for Marvell, I should read out, because this is much like what we saw with Zscaler, kind of tepid. So Q1 2026 guidance for Marvell, adjusted earnings between 56 and 66 cents per share. The midpoint of that, which would be 61 cents, is slightly above estimates of 60 cents. Revenue for the quarter, they're seeing 1.875 billion. That is just barely above estimates of 1.87 billion. So they basically met guidance and nothing more for Marvell. Their GAAP gross margin, 50.5% for Q4. La-di-da. But anyways, I really wanted to talk about that guidance because it was pretty tepid. Like a lot of the guidance, quite honestly, that we've seen for this fiscal quarter in terms of reports. I'm still not seeing Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, and when you consider the environment for chips right now, this is one where you need to have a big number. You saw Nvidia immediately after earnings get punished when they had a great quarter. Marvell, you're not going to be able to get away with this one. So 70 hasn't been hit yet. It's still holding around the mid-70 level. $70 on the daily, as we said earlier. I think that's a big level. 66 as well for Marvell. Down 15%. So the worry is you're past the expected move here. So you did have an implied move of 12%. Last time it moved 23. This is a stock fully capable of seeing that 66 to 70 area here on the daily chart. So the bleed continues, now 16% on Marvell. As you can see from the graph, like 36% in the last 2 months to the downside, highlighted now by another 15 points down here on Marvell. One more here. Adara, what else do we have?
We have Grindr. Thank you to Darwin for putting this out in the chat here. Grindr announced a $500 million buyback. They also announced their sales for fiscal 2024. So 344.636 million above estimates of 340.79 million. They delivered 33% full year revenue growth. I'm not seeing the quarterly numbers, but that's just their full year numbers and that $500 million buyback program. Apparently Victoria's Secret is out, so I'm going to be taking a look there to see if I have these numbers. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to parse through this report here, Neil, if you don't mind.
Yeah, there is definitely a volume spike.
It's out.
But yeah, I actually don't trust my short interest that I just saw on Grindr because it just told me 92% short float. So I'm going to check another source on that. They cannot possibly be true. But VSCO, you just saw, they just rinsed it in both directions here on Victoria's Secret. It was at 22, tag 23, tag 21, right back to 22. So each of the even dollars have been run, and you're back to where we were at the beginning here on Victoria's Secret. And this is something we were talking about, that maybe it's just been so bad that it can't go any lower, or it's going to struggle to go any lower. Victoria's Secret has been just trending down since $48. I mean, it's been bleeding. Now it's sitting more than cut in half since the end of last year, and a little bit of a bid. At least it's trying to catch a bid here on Victoria's Secret. As I said, we got a super chat about this one. Sometimes I couldn't even force my way to say something good about the situation. But again, maybe it's just been falling so far that it's trying to catch a little bit of a bid here.
Yeah, so here's the numbers. Again, I don't always like to compare to the estimates I have till I see the consensus, but I will tell you guys they reported net sales of $2.106 billion. I was seeing estimates of $2.1 billion, so it looks like a beat by like a hair, more or less in line. It's only up 1% year over year, but it is up 5% on a sequential or quarter over quarter basis. So some revenue growth there for Victoria's Secret. Now, what about their earnings per share? $2.33 per share. That is above estimates of $2.30 per share. So yeah, we were correct. They did, where's my little thing? There you go. So they did beat here for EPS and sales, even though the sales beat was pretty slight. Again, year over year and quarter over quarter increases for Victoria's Secret for sales. Those increases were very, very small.
So I get a good question here. Look, I think we've got all the earnings names that we're expecting to come out at this point. And Stevenson ETN asked a really, really good question. Let's just go over this one. How do you switch your bias from going short to going long? Today, I just couldn't switch from shorting to going long. I ended up losing close to 3K punching short. Here's what I'll tell you. It's not always easy. By the way, Victoria's Secret now through 23 and continues to go higher. So it looks like it is trying to catch a bid. That 21's holding, 22 just held. Maybe this is a temporary bottom. Good for them beating top and the bottom. It's not an easy thing. I think what generally has worked for me is I need to have some I need to have preset rules that over time I develop that say I can like a short or a long in whatever direction it might be. And if I see this, this, and this happen, I got to at least look for, it doesn't have to be the stock that I want to short. It doesn't mean I have to go long on Intel when I was shorting it this morning. But there needs to be something that I'm looking for that would give me a change of direction. Now, ultimately, I liked some stocks long this morning. I liked Amazon long, so it wasn't like I was flipping. But here's one of the things that has helped me. And it might not give you an early. You might not get the bottom. You could trend trade a bottom reversal here. But once I see this type of a pattern on, say, the Qs or whatever index you favor, like you break the trend, you have a broken trend that would have trapped some shorts. This is a 3-minute chart, as you can tell. You then break out the opening range high, but it's not even that. It's here. You make a new fresh top, you trend back in, here's a wedge, it then breaks that little downward trend to the upside. By this point, like if I haven't already found myself looking for longs, that's it. I'm not hunting shorts when the Qs are breaking out like this. So it's not always about like reversing at the bottom, reversing at VWAP. I can't give you a different example for today because I was long stuff. The only thing I liked short this morning was AMD and Intel, so I was kind of more long than I was short today. But at the end of the day, you just have to find what works for you. Whether it's trend reversals, it's specific setups that might happen on one of the indices or the stock that you're trading that indicate it's a bit of a reversal. Like let's say you liked Nvidia to the short side. This is a tricky one to have flipped long because it went into resistance and trended down. It then held resistance all day. So I get it. You might not have been able, if you were short today on Nvidia and you were shorting it off the pre-market highs, I don't know that you ever got away from it, but that one would have been fine because I think it would have worked out for you. It's if you were bearish on something that broke it out. Again, like if you liked Amazon in front of pre-market highs, I happen to like it long, you could have shorted it. But after this happens, it tries to test the highs, it breaks it out, it trends down, it breaks the trend. At that point, like somewhere in here is where you just got to be giving it up. So find what works for you. I think that consolidative, make a fresh high, trend back down, break that trend and start going. You got to be able to give shorts up in that particular moment. But everyone's going to be a little bit different there. I hope that helps. But it's not a one solution fits all. I'm just going to tell you what works for me, and every trader goes through this. If there's a trader that tells you they have trouble flipping, or their bias gets the best of, or doesn't get the best of them, or they never lose, it's like that trader is lying to you, or selling you something, like something along those lines. We all deal with it, and we just have to find out what works for us. Nothing seems to be working to get Marvell off the bid right now. So it's still right at the lows. You're not even getting a relief bounce. It's literally hanging out at $75. You don't see this happen very often. The stock goes down 15% on earnings, Adara. Oftentimes, if it makes a bottom on a 3-minute chart, there is some kind of a bounce. Bounce 5% to 80. Maybe it comes back down. It is not even bouncing right now on Marvell. It's just sitting here at those lows and consolidating. To me, that's a really bad sign. I'm used to seeing buying come in. I'll like a level tomorrow on Marvell, usually, or on any earnings name, if I see the buyers come in and take it up from there. And we saw that with Crowdstrike, and you got a good continuation. You're not seeing that here with Marvell. I think that's a bad sign.
Yeah, certainly not a great look there for MRVL. And so D Downs in the chat was asking, what's happening with Broadcom? My guess, and I said this in the chat, and I'll stand by it, I think it's probably Marvell sympathy. Marvell guidance was not great, and Broadcom reports tomorrow. So if Marvell guidance is not great, some traders could be wondering, will fellow semiconductor Broadcom also struggle? I mean, we have yet to find out, but to me, that is the clearest thing. I'm not seeing any news on this name. Also, with regards to, I think that question, I really like that question there from Stevenson Etienne. Of course, we're always very sorry to hear people losing money. I think one thing for myself that I found is just like, have levels you like, but do not attach any kind of emotion to them. And so then when those levels flip on you, and one thing Opie says too, like sometimes your reason, like look for reasons to buy or reasons to sell, and that could occur if you're in the trade or if you want to enter the trade. So if you're in a short and you see a reason to buy, wait for your stop to hit, that's fine, whatever. But consider, do I actually want to get in? And you don't always have to. I like that you'll say this a lot, Neil. You don't have to get in, but you can always be willing to switch. And if your stop loss is set on something concrete like that, where you will get a sense like, oh, I'm right, I'm wrong, whatever, then you're golden. I think one example today was MSTR off that 300. It really did make lower highs, lower lows. I was involved in the downtrend. And then when it started to flip, got stopped out, took the uptrend, right? So it's like I find for myself, I'm lucky in that I love following rules and I don't really have directional bias. So I think if you just come up with some kind of rules that make sense for you and be willing to experiment, tweak them, figure it out, I think that's a good place to start. Also, someone was asking too about setting take profits without being greedy. One thing that Brian Shannon said once in this after show, or I think in one of his videos as well, that I think is hugely important is focus not on taking profits, but on managing your risks. That goes back to the last question too, right? So if you're setting trailing stops, if you're setting stops in areas that make sense based on rules and not based on greed or emotion, then you are more likely to take profit than setting arbitrary profit takers. So that way you're not just trying to take profit at every level unless there are levels that make sense. And you're also maybe going to have more of the move because you're waiting until it's natural to leave the trade, if that makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense. I want to give a shout out to Nimrod for gifting 10 memberships in here. Thank you so much, Nimrod. You have to enable gifts when you log in. And in order to get that, I'm pretty sure you have to be in the chat. So if you want to be able to get the gifted memberships when this happens, and again, thank you, Nimrod, make sure you hit the like and subscribe specifically because it's a subs-only chat. I'm going to get to your question, Borno, but there's one thing I also wanted to add. There was a senior trader when I was a trainee, and I remember I was discussing an add to a position at the time that it happened. It was just the market was slow in the middle of the day, and I was ho-humming about it. And one thing and I'll never forget what he asked me. He said, well, if you weren't in this position and you were looking at this stock, what would you do? If you had to make a decision right here, right now, at that price on this stock, would you be buying it? And I go, well, probably not. It's not the level I like. He goes, then why are you adding to your long? Because if you were flat and you wouldn't buy here if you were flat, then why are you adding to a long position just because the long happens to be in the money? And I kind of took that with me. If I was flat, what would I do? And if I'm in a long, and my answer is, if I didn't have a position, I'd be going short right now. At a bare minimum, I'm taking profit or I'm getting out. Because I think that's an important thing to consider. And the question, I did miss it. It's not on here anymore, but the question that just happened was, in heightened volatility, which we have in this market, I mean, look at Marvell right now, your stops are getting run a little bit more frequently, and you seem to be getting stopped out and wicked out more often. That's going to happen in the type of market that we're in this year. It's been a little bit different from the trendy markets we've had the last couple of years, especially when it comes to tech. And all I would say is the standard for that type of situation, when you have that going on, is smaller size, wider stop. If you have a stop area that you like around an even dollar, have a good understanding of what the spread usually is on the stock and how it usually behaves around that stop area, and try to give it a little bit more room. And when you can always just size down so that you're risking the same amount if it runs lower, right? Like give it a 10% wider stop and then just take a little bit less on your position to adjust for that, and that can keep you into the position. Because it's one thing to like a level and be in a trade, it's another to be able to make and hold a trade. Like make it mean execute in, and then hold it mean not get stopped out or hold to your profit target. So that's one thing that I know a lot of traders around here will do, just subtle, slight adjustments. You can go from taking 500 to 400 with a wider stop. That is perfectly reasonable. Traders do that all the time when things are a little bit more volatile. I mean, the other thing some traders will do is they'll just be like, they'll take the same thing, tighten their stops even more, but then just be more active getting in and out. I don't like doing that myself, but I've known some traders who are just like, whatever, they'll just take more shots at it. And that's not, I don't like doing it that way. I think giving it a wider stop with a little bit less size and then adjusting so you're losing the same amount that you expected to is the way to go. I hope that helps you there. And again, thank you very much, Nimrod. Marvell's ridiculous, so it's depressing me. If you want to feel better about earnings, go look at Zscaler. They're holding 7% up after rinsing to the downside. So I think a good story here for Zscaler, even though the guide wasn't great, it just didn't, as long as it wasn't as bad as you said as Crowdstrike's, it looks like they're getting the win for it.
That is my logic there, because they were in the same sector. Crowdstrike's guidance was yuck. And so Zscaler has guidance that's not great, but not even near the realm as bad. And their revenue guidance was, or sorry, their EPS guidance was actually a slight beat. Like it wasn't a great beat, but it was a slight beat. With that in mind, Neil, I'm actually really curious about Broadcom tomorrow.
Yes.
Because Marvell here came in with weaker than expected, pretty tepid guidance. And not like a huge miss, but certainly exactly in line. So if Broadcom pulls a Zscaler and gives better guidance than the other name in its sector, are we going to get a big pop? But then on the other hand, if it gives worse guidance than Marvell, what do we get? Because I honestly think that Broadcom's got a lot of pressure on its shoulders.
Well, the bigger problem that you look, Marvell being down 15%, it's not going to hurt the market. It's not a major part of the indexes. Yeah, it contributes to the sentiment, which was already weak in the chip space to a certain degree. But Broadcom is different. Broadcom is a big member of the indexes. It is one of the 10 biggest names in the NASDAQ. And if we lose the 200 period in Broadcom tomorrow night, I'm not saying we will, but to the point that you were just sort of making, if that does happen, I think we're in a little bit of trouble again. And that's why I don't think you're not celebrating this bounce that we had in the Qs yet. Great for the day trader. I think for the long term, you got to have, this is the kind of year for the long term, you have to have a different kind of scope and a longer time frame if you've been doing dip buying. You can't worry about if we lose the 50 period or the 200 period, whichever one you're buying off of. It's been the 200 lately because we've had a big pullback. But if Broadcom loses this, I think we have more downside incoming. And it's true for the Qs, it's true of the chips, it's going to be true potentially with Nvidia. But there is one trap that I remember Broadcom has done this. I've seen Qualcomm when they have their earnings. And that is, I've seen the situation where Qualcomm or Broadcom, and AVGO did this too, Broadcom and Qualcomm, both of them did this recently, or at least in the last year. They both dropped after earnings. And then in the morning, the next day, all the sympathy chip names, and they were all gapped up or had recovered some, and they hadn't. Mm-hmm. And I remember that being an indicator that it was kind of like a fake out, the names that had recovered, because the name that reported didn't come back. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I look at Broadcom regardless tomorrow. But yeah, I think there's a lot at stake with Broadcom earnings for sure. It's 4:30. Well, before we go into the, what am I losing my mind here? Roll call. Yeah. Any other earnings updates?
I really want to talk about MongoDB here. We did cover MongoDB earnings. Someone here in the chat was asking about it, MH, so we can go over it again for sure. So MongoDB reported here Q4 2025 adjusted earnings of $1.28 per share. Hearty beat versus 66 cents expected. They also had sales here, 548.398 mil, above estimates of 519.6 mil. Now let's talk about their guidance. So their Q1 guidance here came in 63 to 67 cents for earnings per share versus 62 expected. That would be a beat. The revenue guidance kind of mixed here, 524 to 529 mil. Midpoint of that is like basically right in line with estimates of 527.126 million. Now let's talk about their fiscal 2026 guidance, because their EPS guidance pulled a Broadcom Crowdstrike, and by that I mean it's well below estimates. $2.44 to $2.62 expected versus estimates of $3.34. So that is not great guidance here for fiscal 2026 earnings per share. Revenue 2.24 to 2.28 billion, also missing estimates of 2.325 billion. So to recap, they beat on earnings, they beat on revenue. Their guidance was kind of meh for the quarter, and it was very meh for the fiscal year.
Ooh, I like that, Dara. And the good news is that it didn't make a fresh 52-week low yet. So it's not quite through the bottom, but I think that could get tested tomorrow in Mongo at 2:13. Well, you know what time it is past 4:30, which means we got to get into some roll call around here. And if you know the drill, then you know what to do. If you don't know the drill, you got to get yourself in the chat. So hit that subscribe button so that you can join our community, A, because it's a fantastic one, and then B, so you can get your name in the chat. And what I want everybody to do here is give a big shout out to a member of our team in thanks, whether it's Fabian and Ramin on the ones and two, Andre doing a fantastic job on our social, Adara with the spready trader magic, and on the news desk all day long. I don't know how she does it. She keeps the news and she's trading while she does it. I've tried being on this desk back in the day. I traded like an idiot when I was trying to do that in the news. Give a big shout out to my man Sean. Give a big shout out to the Bash brothers as well, Joey Options and Shreve. Give a shout out to Obi, who'll be filling in for me next week. Our entire team's a great one. Brendan as well. Thank you. And make sure you give a double thanks to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the business, and his twin brother as well, because why not? So with that, let's get a little roll call here, Adara.
Yeah, shout out to BVB, Sean, Neil, thank you for being here with me. Shout out to Andre, Fabian, Ramin, Brendan, Sharif, Joe, and again, Bears vs. Bulls, I want to thank you again for everything you do. We got Jay Lee, Ron Miller Music, Michael, Bear Slayer, Vish. We've got Joseph Birch Music, Pepper Potts, Cold King, Chad, Viral 86, Robert Liu, The Perpetual Moment, Bulls SX7, Quinton, Hans, Silverado, Blue Column, Mitchell Miller. We have Marie, I think I saw Marie, Stevenson, Etienne, Christopher, John F, TS Booger, Sean Neal, Sister Girl from Another World. We've got Gianni Leon. We have 100 miles per hour, Bolt Trapper. Maybe that's what happened today. We'll find out. And last but not least, I'll stop with Day Trader Cut. And also, thanks again to Nimrod for gifting those memberships. Thank you to everybody in our community. And guess what? There'll be more news tomorrow.
Absolutely. And you know what? If the market goes down tomorrow, just blame Mongo and Marvell. It's not our fault. But it's going to be a fun one. Regardless, after the bell tomorrow, you're going to have Broadcom. That's a big day for the markets tomorrow when they report. Major member of the index. The chips are going to move tomorrow. You know it's going to be a big one. Palantir is probably going to move tomorrow. You'll probably see that. But you know what happens? You got to get some rest. Because at 8:30 tomorrow morning, we'll be back right here at Trader TV Live, giving you the goods. Bye, everybody.